Good morning, Daybreak watchers. We're going to get going in about 50 seconds here.
Host of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. You'll also hear from Turtle Island voices like Arvina Martin, State Representative Heather Keeler, Ruth Anna Buffalo, Dr. Anthony Stately, State Senator Mary Kunish, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local Civic Media radio station.
Finding support for my child with ADHD felt overwhelming. I didn't know which direction to take, but Understood.org's resources helped guide me. Now I have the tools I need to keep us
moving. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is where Wisconsin wakes up. It's Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Here are your hosts, Brian and Jamie.
Good morning, 6:06 right now. We hope that your day is off to a great start. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Well, look who's back. Glad to see you. I'm Brian Noonan. Yes, see, now, Frega Parker, I'll know when to start talking because Jamie's back. So it's all, everything should be back to normal. So are you rested? Did you actually vacation, or did you use this as an excuse to work nonstop with no need for sleep?
There were a few work meetings involved in this particular vacation. It's why it fell when it did. But at the same time, no, we came back rested. What I did learn on this particular trip is that I don't like flying. I love the experience. And if you are somebody who has to be in airports often, I'm just sorry. Our trip from Madison to Orlando, the day we left last Wednesday, took us 12 and a half hours with all of the delays and layovers.
All right, we
gotta, absolutely ridiculous.
This is a timeline that doesn't make sense. But if you have an airline horror story, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Now, I know if I were to drive from Madison to Orlando, it would take me probably 18
hours.
to 20. Yeah, 18 to 20 hours. All right. So it took you 12 to fly, and flying much faster normally. 12
It's
hours.
supposed to be. That's what they tell me anyway.
So what happened?
Well, it was just one of those things where every time we looked at the boarding pass or we looked down at our email, we had another email that was telling us that we were being delayed. And so we got through security just fine. Obviously, was a bit of a line because we left early on a Wednesday morning. So, people trying to get where they need to for a long extended weekend.
And security took a long time? You didn't just run through it?
Security took us probably, I would say that we were there in Madison even, we were there for probably about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So not bad. Madison Airport, usually smaller, easy to get through. So we were able to get through security. We got to our gate. We were able to have a leisurely breakfast. Our first plane ended up being delayed about 15, 20 minutes. So not that big of a deal.
That's not bad.
So we're like, okay, this is cool. No big deal. Then it was when we got to O'Hare that everything just went wonky.
You had you flew from Madison to O'Hare and then O'Hare to Orlando?
Jamie, be respectful to my dear airport now.
In fact, at one point I texted you and I'm like, we might just live here now because it started out as a 1 hour delay that then got bumped to a 3 hour delay that then eventually got bumped to about a 4.5 hour delay.
Was it weather? What were they telling you? Or probably nothing?
They weren't telling us anything.
Of course
it was just a complete delay. So we eventually got back onto the plane, made it to Orlando. What I will say is that I don't know who planned the Orlando airport, but anybody who puts ridges into carpeting when you're trying to wheel your suitcases through and puts pebble walkways through restaurants when you're trying to wheel a suitcase is an absolute moron.
What did I say? Jamie texted me and told me about her O'Hare nightmares, and I said, well, here's the good news. You're flying into MCO, which is quite literally my most hated airport of all time.
Really? And
now
I've heard it's
the
nice. It has a
worst.
hotel in it and all kinds of
You
restaurants and
because
things.
you're going to be trapped there forever.
Wow.
And so we on the way back, we eventually get to Orlando. Everything is great. We had our meetings on Thursday all day. And then we ended up going over to Epcot for their after hours, which was super, super fun. They only do this a few times throughout the year. And so it just happened that on the 23rd, the day of our anniversary, and yesterday, thank you, they were having this after hours where you can go see the fireworks. You know, the admission is cheaper, the lines are shorter. It was an absolute blast. And, you know, for two people who have been married for 23 years, who are now in their late 40s, we had a really great time at the Magic Kingdom all by ourselves. Here's what I will say, though, is there's a reason that we never took our kids, and I am certainly glad that we never did, because I was watching the parents even after hours. Well, after hours, even, you know, the kids are tired. They have to stand in line. You have to,
it's miserable.
And I was like, I can't imagine dragging my kids through this during the day. And then here's what I did discover. As we were walking in, there were people walking out because they'd been at the park all day.
Yeah.
At one point, I looked at my husband and I said, are these people okay? They look like they've just come out of a prison or something, like some sort of war scene. And he goes, I guess that's what happens when you're at the Magic Kingdom for 14 hours on a 90-degree day. Oh, my gosh. So then I was freaked out just a little bit. But no, it ended up being a gorgeous night, and we had an absolute blast. We headed over to Kennedy Space Center the very next day. We had a breakfast meeting to wrap up from the day before, and then we went over to Kennedy. This was my husband's dream. He is a science nerd, and I do love science as well. I have never watched so many IMAX movies in my entire life. I've never been ushered around as much as I had been.
Oh, you got the full package?
Wow.
Oh, he wanted to do everything. We did the bus tour. We did it all. The park opened at 9 a.m. We got there at 9:30 a.m., and we were there until they were doing the last call out the gates.
Jeez. That's your Disneyland or Disney World.
Because he loves himself some good science. And it was super fun. We had a blast over there. Then on Saturday morning, I don't even know what day it was. Saturday, we had to get dressed. We had to get back to the airport. Flying out of Orlando, we had about a 25-minute wait in security early Saturday morning. Now, this is before 6 a.m.
That's actually not bad.
Wow.
So 25 minutes we waited, and we got through security. Our plane was delayed to start things off. In fact, on Friday morning, we were told through email that our plane was going to be delayed. So we already knew that things were delayed. So we got there, we waited, finally boarded, finally got on the plane, and made our way back to Madison, or to O'Hare, I should say. It was at O'Hare that things went a little wonky again, because we were running extremely late by this point, because our connecting flight was not delayed in any way, or at least we were told. So now, if you've ever been to O'Hare, you know this is a large airport. So,
Just a little.
We exited the gate on H. We were on the H concourse. We were told that the connecting flight was over on the L concourse. Now, mind you, we have about 10 minutes to get from H to L at O'Hare, which is no small feat. So we make our way from H to L, only to get the update as we're standing at gate L1. Oh, by the way, your plane is not delayed, and you are now at gate G1. So now we have to go all the way back across the airport, which is about another 10-minute walk. Luckily, the plane was delayed, and they were just boarding the flight prior to us when we got there. And we got on the plane, and I looked at Corey, and I said, is this convenient? Is this really what people think is convenient about air travel? Because I could have drove. I could have stopped when I wanted to. I could do bathroom breaks whenever I want to. I could eat anywhere I wanted to, and nobody'd bring me a bag of peanuts.
I was going to bring this up, that probably Madison to O'Hare is not that bad a drive.
No, it's really not. And we didn't book these because we were having meetings. We did not book our own airfare.
Oh.
This was done through the business we were meeting with. So they booked our airfare for us. So we were kind of at the mercy. We were able to give them a couple of different suggestions, and then they booked the one that made most sense for them. So we were at their mercy. We did offer to drive from Madison to Chicago. They chose to book us the flight anyway. It's a quick 30-minute flight once you actually,
I was going to
get
say
on-
it's wheels up and wheels down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the flights are never the problem. It's the actual
It's the
taking
getting
off
on
before
one.
you. Before they
And
let
then
you
we
actually
had
fly.
a seat that was broken on one of our flights, so we had to have maintenance come over and first class, and they had to do a whole incident write-up before we could take off, and there had to be paperwork that was done. They had to tack down some carpet on one of the flights because that was a tripping hazard. And of course, the airlines don't want to be sued by somebody who might potentially trip on a
They're
quarter
barely
of
hanging
carpet.
on as it is.
Oh man. So, the trip was great. I said to Corey as we were getting off the plane and walking through the Madison airport back to our vehicle, I said, maybe next time we just drive. Road trips are fun. They can be fun.
Not for 20 hours or not. You guys are always so busy. You can't dedicate 40 hours in your week to driving to Orlando and back.
I don't know. I think he's a little aired out at this point because he had just been to NAB in Las Vegas the same week. I actually came home just for a day or so before we had to fly out, so he had to do air travel earlier in the week. He's got a trip to Boston that he has to do next week, so he has to fly yet again. And he's like, this might be it for a little bit. I might be done flying after this for a little bit.
I would stick to. I always try to stick to one direct flight. That's it. I don't do connections. I don't do layovers. If I had to fly out of somewhere close, I would make the drive to that airport just so I'd have some control over the trip.
The problem I think that we're seeing is that there've been so many cuts and so many issues that are happening to the airlines. There's been issues with DHS. There's been issues with TSA. So even and you brought
issues
it up,
with
Brian.
jet fuel and flights
and-
being canceled.
Yes,
and,
and there's all of that. So what should be easy flights and were direct flights not too long ago from Madison to Orlando, those no longer exist. You just can't find them unless you want to fly on something like Spirit Airlines.
Which pretty soon the government's going to own anyway. So
right.
Because we have
So there's all of that I think goes into it as well. But I know it's supposed to be the most convenient form of travel. I know that people love to do it because you can get places that you wouldn't normally get to. But boy, oh boy, I mean, the hassle of just getting on the plane is enough to deter you at this point from being like, is travel really that important right now? I don't know. It was nuts. It was nuts. But we made it, and it was a good trip nonetheless. So
good. And now you're back. What are the updates? Frank got a car. What else? Frank got a car. Frank's planning a bachelor party. Parker, do we have updates on you, Parker?
I went to
now,
a
Alicia, don't be a
had lot of
narc.
drinks, that's
Look
about it.
at Alicia trying to rat us out.
Just trying to throw us under the bus.
Yeah,
we were
really.
fine.
Yeah, we were fine. The FCC didn't shut us down. We're still
made sure.
here. Yeah.
I had to go through transcripts and archives to figure out what we talked about, so I wasn't
about a
putting
lot.
double stuff in.
A lot of stuff.
There was a lot of stuff that
Covered a
happened last
lot.
week.
And a
There
lot
was.
this week. And, oh, man, where do we begin? Well, I think when we come back, we need to begin at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Or, let's begin with Caroline Leavitt because she's leaving.
Yeah.
Not for good, but who knows? He might find her icky once she has a baby. It might not be.
She's already had one, so
Right, but he didn't have to watch the process of that
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
Anyway, do you think the White House press briefings are going to be more or less transparent because Caroline Leavitt is leaving and the president is going to be giving some of his own press briefings? That should be a treat. All right, well, Jamie's back. We are here. It is Daybreak for a Monday. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. It is 6:19 right now, and you are listening to the Civic Media Network. Yeah, no, I am airported out for a little bit. That was
Chad says he's
insanity.
glad to hear that the trip was successful.
It was successful. It was a great trip. We were able to spend a good amount of time with my radar for Severe Studios and hammer out a few things that we've needed to with them for video, for storm chasing. And it turns out it's going to be very active on the plains over the next few weeks. So that's good. But yeah. And then while we were sitting there in meetings, and there was that huge tornado that went through Oklahoma, and yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah, that footage was scary.
Yeah, we had several chasers down there. We were getting as we were sitting in our meetings, we were getting the updates from all of them, and we were like, well, if you had any issues with what we were doing video-wise, this is why we're here, so let's figure this out. So we were able to do that with them. Got to ride in a Tesla Cybertruck. That was fun.
How'd that go?
Sorry.
It's like a big dumpster on wheels. And the inside is really no better.
Did you share your concern over the man's genital size who was driving it? You didn't rent that, did you? That was not your rental car,
No, we did
was
not.
it?
No,
Okay,
we Ubered
good.
the whole time. The CEO of the company picked us up in their company vehicle, which is a logoed up truck, Tesla truck.
God.
Which he immediately apologized. We got this beforehand.
That's no excuse. They sell cars now, too. You can trade it in and get something different.
So, anyway, so.
I don't know if I've ever seen the interior of a Cybertruck. Because the outside is just so bad. No one ever bothers to open the door.
I was in the back seat, so I couldn't really see much.
10 seconds.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday. We hope your day is off to a great start. It is 6:22 right now. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. So tell us at 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842, do you think the White House press briefings are going to be more or less transparent with Caroline Leavitt going on maternity leave and Donald Trump taking over some, not all, but some of the press releases? So Caroline's heading out for maternity leave. Donald Trump going to step in, give some of his own press briefings. On Friday, Caroline Leavitt addressed the fact that she would be heading out on leave and that the day's conversation with the press would likely be her last for a while. But she assured reporters, and we always take her at her word, that since they had access to Trump's phone, they likely would not need her department much while she was away. And what does it say that her department is not handling the press briefings anymore? She said, quote, "This will be my last gaggle for some time. As you can see, I'm about ready to have a baby any minute, so I'll see you guys very soon. I know you have the president's phone number personally, so I have no doubt that you will have no shortage of statements and news from the building while I'm gone." This is going to be an unprecedented, unmitigated disaster.
Well,
It's already a disaster listening to her give a press briefing.
Here's the thing, though. No matter what you think of Caroline Leavitt, I have plenty of thoughts.
I don't think much.
The one thing you can say about her is she is consistent and very on message and very disciplined for this administration. She's essentially an attack dog for the president. That's simply her role. Her job isn't necessarily to give us more information. It's simply to control a message and to push back and not to go off script. And with her going on maternity leave and the president taking over some of these press briefings, you're going to get a lot more access, but probably not in the way you think. And it's certainly not going to help with any sort of clarity, because he gets to a microphone, he goes off script, he meanders, he answers a question,
then
he does the
Jamie.
weave. That's right.
Please.
Yep.
And here's the other thing, to your point about access. We already hear from him way more than we want to. Let's be honest. If he's not in front of a camera, he's on Truth Social. He's weighing in here or there. He never shuts up. We hear too much from him. Now he's going to every day have a press briefing. It's either going to be him, J.D. Vance, or some other cabinet members who really, I guess, have nothing else to do. There's plenty of time to, file lawsuits against the Atlantic.
This is pretty unprecedented that an administration is going to take over their own press briefings. And reports are coming out that there are no plans for any sort of formal replacement once Leavitt goes on leave.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody was willing to fill in for that role. Maybe there is nobody that they trust in that role. I have no idea. The president might think he's the best person to handle the messaging. But, I mean, this administration already gives us so much contradiction. So I can't even imagine what's going to happen if somebody from the administration, maybe the president, maybe J.D. Vance, maybe Marco Rubio, maybe Mark Wayne Mullen, I don't know, are all trotting out to the microphone on a daily basis. How much contradiction are we going to get? I mean,
it's going to be ridiculous. And then he'll start doing it just like he did with the COVID press briefings. Remember, it was going to be other people, then it was him. Because to your point, yes, there's probably a lot of people that didn't want to do it, but he probably doesn't trust anybody else to do it like Caroline Leavitt does. She does whatever he wants, and you accurately portrayed her as an attack dog for the president. He does think he's better at it than everybody else because he thinks he's the smartest person on the planet, which is day by day being proven wildly inaccurate. That's bad thinking.
Yeah.
No ability to look at yourself and make an honest judgment. But this is what we have to look forward to. To answer our question, I do not think there will be more transparency. I don't think we get transparency from Caroline Leavitt. So I believe it will be more Politburo type messaging where this is what the party wants you to hear. This is what you should listen to. And any question will be drummed down. How are you going to give a press briefing to a group of people you loathe? He despises the press. He even went off last night on Norah O'Donnell on 60 Minutes. He cannot stand in front of the press without insulting them. And this is, at some point, is it better for us not to hear him at all? I mean, the far right-wing media that they've handpicked will still be in that press room. But come on, this is useless.
I think it's an interesting dynamic that he has with the press, because you're right. He does loathe the press, but it's also how he has gotten his fame is through the press and through media. And so he also knows he needs them all at the same time, even though he hates the fact, at least from an outsider perspective, he hates the fact that they report on things that are happening within the country accurately most of the time, or report the facts. And that's why he loathes them. It's not the fact that they give him the attention and the airtime. It's the fact that they hold him accountable for things that he said or things that his administration is doing.
Well, sure.
And he doesn't want that.
So what's the answer then? I would argue, and I know it's never going to happen, we cut down on the coverage. Who cares that he's going to babble every day? Because most of it, I know. Yes, I know. But it's all distractions. Everything is a distraction from what's really important. We still have, even though we're going to get into this thing at the hotel ballroom and the White House Correspondents' Dinner after the news, there's still the Epstein file stuff that's out there. There's still a war going on that we have no way to get out of. There are all these really important things. People are bleeding money trying to just get gas and food to go to live day to day. Can't afford insurance, but we're going to have to listen to more of this garbage just as a distraction. We all know we're being distracted, and yet we're letting them distract us. So there you go. What's your reaction to the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Let's keep the good news rolling on a Monday. Give us a call, 855-75-CIVIC. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson, 629 on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
I mean, that was why the press hated Biden so much.
That he never came out.
He never came out, and it was a normal presidency.
It was boring.
So it did nothing for the presses and the network's bottom dollars or their ratings.
Yeah, but I don't care about that.
No, I don't either. But they do, and now we live in a time where media legacy is now owned by the Jeff Bezos of the world. So... Chad asking an interesting question. The question I have is, why do we see JD trying to be in the spotlight? Never before has a vice president been seen in the spotlight. Because I think
because he's the heir apparent, right?
He is.
And according to last week, Trump was asking around, who's better, JD or Marco? So he's waiting, and he's going to pit them against each other till he,
of course,
deems who is his successor.
Well, and let's also be real. When you look at the ratings, JD is going to most likely make a run after this presidency, and he's even among the Republican Party and the very right-wing MAGA voter. He is wildly unpopular.
Yeah.
So he's going to try to be in the spotlight as much as possible right now and try to look like he's important to this administration doing something. Ugh. And unfortunately for JD, the reason why he's so unpopular with some of the most right voters is mostly because of his wife.
Oh, because she's Indian?
Yes. And she has brown skin. Her parents are legal immigrants, and that is a bridge too far for some of the most right voters when you look at some of the polling, which is crazy because Melania also is technically a legal immigrant.
Yes, of course she is.
So
but
there's
she's not
that.
Brown.
That's the issue.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole thing Saturday it smells way too fishy for me.
Yeah.
Oh, Alicia. You haven't seen all the coverage yet.
Oh yeah, you have. Please, Alicia, you're
Oh.
a day and a half behind.
Save it. Everybody save it. Save it.
Zip it.
Zip it.
Zip it. Zip.
Zip. Zip it. Zip it.
Sorry.
Zip.
Look at me, I'm Zippy Longstocking. It's an Austin Powers reference, Parker, in case you haven't watched those movies. Okay, just making sure.
I know Austin Powers.
International Man of Mystery.
Got a whole lot of a big old bag of
Here we go.
with
This
your
is
name
just
on it.
coming out.
What now?
Justice Department cites dinner shooting to press preservationists to drop the lawsuit. It just popped up. Oh, of course.
Save it.
I can't, Frank.
Save
The whole world is burning.
2 minutes.
The whole world is
Save it.
burning.
Jamie, to answer your question about Epcot, by the way, as you walked around the area, you probably noticed something. There's no shade anywhere in that entire place. Everything's out in the open.
Yes.
So if you spend your entire day there, you are dead.
They look like they were prisoners.
Well, that's
coming
why
out
you
of
are.
boot camp.
Of the
a lot
mouse.
of people who take a break with their kids in the middle of the day and go home and take a nap. And
That's
then come
such a
back to
pain in the
parks.
ass, though.
Oh, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine. My
We used
future
to-
kid is going to be toughening it out.
Well, kids have strollers too. As long as you keep the thing up and keep them hydrated, they're in a stroller. They can
They'll
sleep.
pull themselves up
And they
by their
start-
shoe straps.
Start screaming and just having a meltdown, and every dad is just God damn it, I spent a year's pay to get us here.
10 seconds.
Ugh.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:35 right now. If you are listening this morning in Appleton and Oshkosh on WISS, or in Eau Claire on 93.5 The Tap, or in La Crosse on WLCX, we are glad that you are able to join us. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. All right, what was your reaction to the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday? As you can imagine, we have thoughts, I have thoughts, you have thoughts. Share your thoughts. Before we get into opinions and thoughts, Jamie, though, we have to lead with the facts, which most of us are very familiar with at this point because it has been a nonstop news story since it happened Saturday night. A man armed with guns and knives stormed the lobby outside the high-profile journalist dinner. It was attended by the president, multiple senior U.S. leaders, Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, J.D. Vance, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Most of the cabinet was there, which seems odd to me anyway. But so this guy comes running in. One law enforcement official said the gunman had opened fire. Turns out he did fire once. It hit a Secret Service agent, thankfully in the vest. That Secret Service agent is doing okay. Initial reports were that the gunman had been killed. He was not. He is in custody. He's believed to have made it past the outermost layer of security. If you've seen the video, and I'm sure you have, Jamie, it seems and you having just gone through TSA, it seems literally impossible for this to have happened. They said he sprinted for 50 yards. In the video, one Secret Service agent has his back to the entrance, and it appears out of the corner of his eye, sees a person dash past him, and then sidesteps and finally pulls his weapon. But I'm like, nobody saw this guy coming for 50 yards, but we'll get into that. I guess we'll stick with the facts for a while. Cole Thomas Allen is his name. He's of Torrance, California. As law enforcement went back, he took a train from California to Chicago, then a train from Chicago to Washington, D.C. He checked into the hotel, which is how he claims he got in his writings. That's how he got his weapons in the building, because he checked in well before they closed down the area for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which has been happening in this same hotel, in this same subterranean ballroom since its inception. If you were looking at all the floor plans and everything that have been released in the last couple days, the area where he was detained is upstairs basically from the ballroom.
Yep.
Depending on what report you hear, he was just outside the ballroom. Depending on other reports, he was further away from the ballroom. According to acting Attorney General Blanche, he never made it anywhere near the president. That was a direct quote from Branch. He never made it near the president. But yeah, so that's, I guess those are the facts, right?
It's what we know as of right now. And let me be clear. We're with this particular administration, no matter what you think happened on Saturday evening, we're never going to know the full scope of the details. We're just not. We are never going to know every detail, every nuance, because that is just not this administration is not transparent in that particular way.
Right, but the problem is there's a lot of video coming out.
There is.
A lot of pictures, and it's not the video controlled by the White House. It is video from people who were there and reports. There were too many people in this place to put a lid on something. And that's why I'm not saying that I agree with all this, but I do. There's a lot of speculation that this may not be what it seems.
And I understand why people would think that, just because of how this administration has operated in the past, and the fact that there was so much quiet and hush around the shooting on the campaign trail. And I don't know if I believe that this was some sort of event that was manufactured or staged based on the evidence that we have right now. And
Really?
mind you, I'm one of those people who will change their mind. What we do know about Cole Allen is that his family actually notified authorities to a manifesto they found while he was traveling. They found a manifesto and notified authorities about this manifesto. And he was somebody who dabbled in very progressive rhetoric. He had been at multiple protests. And according to his sister and brother, they know that he had been stockpiling weapons and knives at his parents' house. And he also had bbeen talking weeks prior to this to his family and friends about the fact that this administration, and this is according to his family, that the entire administration was going to be in this one place all at the same time. And he found that to be a very golden opportunity for somebody who disliked this administration. Now, at the time he was saying those things, according to his sister, they didn't think much about it until they found the manifesto. And then all of a sudden they put pieces together and they notified authorities. And
I get it. And that's all I get it. And that is all true. But then as you start putting everything together, and I can't believe I am starting to think this way, but going all the way back to that field last year, and an ear that has grown back that every medical expert in the world said is impossible. That cartilage does not grow back. Evander Holyfield's ear has never grown back.
No.
Go to that. Go to the fact that this president lets nothing go, and since the day of that shooting has never mentioned it. So, and to the fact that the Secret Service, even if this is not a staged event, which I'm not saying it is, I'm just putting out, you're able to make your own decisions. Either the Secret Service is wildly inept. Either way, either they are making crucial mistakes and these are legit acts of possible assassination, or they're just awful. Because there's no reason that we have footage of the guy in the field climbing up the building. We have footage of this guy running 50 yards past security. Right. It's like, come on. You're either really, really dumb or in on it.
Well, and let's be clear. We obviously there is still Secret Service around this particular president. We also know that that the Secret Service is at one of its lowest capacities as far as people signing up, being part of the Secret Service.
Right, but protection detail is not going to be where they cut back. That's not the president's protection is not going to be ancillary staffing.
We also know that this particular president has dabbled in bringing in his own hand-picked Secret Service agents and also security from outside sources. So,
which is easier to control if you want to create something. Also, footage from
perhaps
numerous
not as trained either, right? That's where I look at too. You know,
and you look at footage, and there's footage from all different angles. The vice president is pulled out way before the president off that dais, and that seems there's a lot of things that just seem weird to me. And so these are my opinions. I'm not saying it's true, but when you start putting them together, I'm wondering if other people are thinking this way as well. You see the vice president be pulled off first. They take their time getting the president up. Then he seems to fall, which he said he didn't fall, but we all see him go to the ground. Then there's still photos of him standing in the wings, looking out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, doesn't the First Lady have her own Secret Service protection normally? They leave her under the table.
Normally, right. But this is where I'm saying, though, we have, and this is why I get skeptical about anything, right? Because we have no idea what the inner workings of the current detail are. We know what they've done in the past. We know what other presidents have done, but we have no idea how this administration is maybe pulled back.
But shouldn't the president always be the first one out? Shouldn't they get him out and then, unlike letting him stand up and raise his fist or stand in the wings and watch this whole thing unfold, don't they look, we've all seen enough movies. The president goes out first, and they don't stop until they get him in that car to get him out of that building.
We also know his reaction to the Secret Service, thanks to Cassidy Hutchinson during the January 6th testimony, of how he has treated the Secret Service when he has been told that he has to get out of those situations. And we have no idea if there's some sort of edict to personify this tough guy that he thinks he might be, if it's just, I stay. I mean, that's the thing that I keep going back to as well. I agree 100% that in the past, that is how Secret Service and security has operated. We have no idea what this president is trying to personify and project onto the public as far as this tough guy attitude.
Is there a coincidence? And again, I'm positing questions. You make up your own mind.
Sure.
Does it seem very coincidental that every time his polls drop very, very low, there's an incident? The fact that he's been shot down by judges about this ballroom, this militarily top secret, that's his words, not mine, militarily top secret ballroom that he has to build. Coincidence that he goes to the first White House Correspondents' Dinner since his presidency began. And then there's an incident in where? A ballroom. The ballroom that has never had an incident in all the years that this Correspondents' Dinner has been there. All the years that cabinet members and the president has been in this ballroom. Never. Coincidence? I don't know. Is it a coincidence that we're in a war that is wildly unpopular? And now, look, somebody tried to come after me. Is it a coincidence that the whole world is burning, that people in the streets are screaming anti-Trump slogans because they can't afford gas, they can't afford food, they can't afford insurance? Are we to believe that everything is a coincidence, that it all just lines up that way? I don't know. But I'm pointing out these are all things.
We've never had a president this wildly popular. And the last time somebody's polls
wildly
sunk to
popular.
this level, or wildly unpopular,
I was
going
to say, where are you? I know you've been in
no,
Florida,
no.
but come on.
And we've never had a president whose polls have been this low. And when they were clear back in the day of Richard Nixon, well, he resigned because he knew to do that. So at this point, knowing what the manifesto said, what Cole Allen's family has said was in the manifesto, because let's be real, we may never see that from this particular administration, at least until the press gets their hands on it. I'm going to go with this err on the side of caution that I believe with the unpopularity of this president, this was somebody who thought they had a prime opportunity to get access to this administration and acted. Now, if things change and I learn something much different, then I'm willing to change my mind. But if I'm going just on what I know about this shooter right now, his past, his rhetoric, his donations, and the things that his family has said about him, I'm going to say that, unfortunately, this might be just very coincidental based on the unpopularity of this president, the administration, and what they're currently doing, and perhaps just really dereliction of security detail and duty.
Well, we'll hear a little bit from the president on the other side of this, and then we also have to get into politicians who resign in disgrace. Should they still be eligible for taxpayer-funded pensions? We'll get into that. We'll get your text at 855-75-CIVIC. So much to do because it's Monday on Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. 6:48 right now on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't see if we had. I just was seeing that we had the audio.
Yeah, we've got those two clips.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we have Roger and Stevens Point, Steve Mount Horeb. Texts.
Yep. We can continue it for a minute. Jamie, I'm shocked that you're not that you're taking this at face value. And I quite frankly, I'm shocked that I'm not. But
I don't know enough to say differently, because I believe this was a very, very progressive mindset, and until we know differently. I mean, but at the same time, we're never going to know differently, and we're going to know.
I don't doubt that he did it.
We're also going to know. I think there's going to be some telling circumstances, because when he was shot on the campaign trail, that just died very quickly, right? And nobody wanted to talk about that. Depending on how quickly this dies, I think it tells you everything. But right now, I have no idea how quickly it's going to die down.
You know why this one's not going to die? Because he's pushing now for that ballroom. This is the proof. We have to stay in. I can never go out. I have to stay in my militarily top secret. It's not really top secret if everybody knows it's there.
Right.
But I guess we wouldn't know all the super secret military stuff.
Now, from some other reporting that I've heard as well, and it's not corroborated yet, which is why I don't ever bring it up. But from other reporting that I've heard, where the hell are my notes? He was stopped at the perimeter and did not get through security. And the reason he was even allowed in the motel is because he was in part of the hotel on a different floor above the ballroom that was open to the public at the time, because that was part of the motel that still had not been closed down to other guests at the motel. Now, whether or not that's going to be true or not, I have no idea.
Yeah, and yesterday on the Sunday morning shows, it was like, no, the whole hotel, even if you're a guest, it all gets shut down. It's blocks around. There's a perimeter. He was able to be in the building because he was a registered guest. But yeah, I mean, then there were reports, well, the Secret Service only handles inside the room.
We have got 10 seconds.
All facts, no fiction. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:52 right now. We hope that you're having a great start to your Monday morning. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Welcome. We're going to talk a little bit more about the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner before we get into pensions that you are funding for people who have resigned from Congress in disgrace. Holy cow, we're coming out hot today. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. All right, so we laid out the facts. I laid out some coincidences that make me skeptical about what happened. But that's ultimately, it's going to be up to you to make your own decision. I'm not telling you what to think. But what's funny is, now I will quibble with the wording of assassination attempt. Mm-hmm. Only because the guy never made it anywhere close to any official. You know, he was stopped well outside. Was that his intent? It seems like it. So, but whatever you want to call it, you know what happened. There was a Secret Service agent hurt. Thankfully, he is doing well by all reports. He was hitting the vest, so that's good. But then, immediately afterwards, the cabinet convened at the White House to get in front of the cameras because they are like teenagers. If it's not on Insta, it didn't happen. They want to be in front of the cameras at every moment. And that is not opinion, that is fact. Because there they were. You've got the president up there. You've got Kash Patel. You got Pete Hegseth. You got Jeanine Pirro. You've got everybody was around. And they're all smiling. And then the president started to talk. And he made one of the most disingenuous comments that it doesn't surprise me. But, Jamie, we should unify as a country, according to Donald Trump.
Yes.
Parker?
But in light of this evening's events, I ask that all Americans recommit with their hearts in resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, independents, conservatives, liberals, and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd, there was a record-setting group of people.
No, there wasn't. Why is it always about you? And why you still got to take? You're talking about bringing people together and setting aside our differences, and you still take a shot at Democrats. You can't help yourself because you don't really want unity.
Especially when most Democrats that I saw, from the national level all the way down to local levels, a majority of them were condemning any sort of violence and the act of that happened on Saturday night at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
And
nobody condoned this in any
nobody condoned it.
No.
Nobody condoned it. And I apologize if I cannot take the comments of a man telling me to unify and put our differences aside, the same man who, when Robert Mueller died, said, "I'm glad," and tweeted it out. I can't, don't tell me you want us to unify. You only want us to unify because it's about you. And you want to prove, oh, look, I'm compassionate. Once again, your polls are in the garbage. The country is really unhappy. Please, we need to unify. You are the most divisive human being on the face of the earth, and we have the receipts to prove it. So don't come at me with that kind of, oh, well, can't we all kumbaya? When, like you said, Jamie, nobody is saying, well, there's one guy here in Wisconsin who's saying it, but we'll get into that. But most normal, rational thinking people, nobody wants to see anybody shot.
No.
I don't care how much I dislike a politician. I don't want to see them assassinated. No. I don't want to see them hurt, but I don't want them in office, but I want them to go on and have a life. But don't come at me with your fake unifications. And then don't use it as an excuse, coincidence number 2, to push your agenda.
I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it.
He was in an underground ballroom yesterday or Saturday. It's a subterranean is how they describe it on the hotel site. Subterranean. Which is a word I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Why the White House Correspondents' Dinner is usually held at this particular hotel, because they do have a subterranean ballroom for more protection.
And you know what? They didn't need bulletproof glass there because there's no windows.
Right.
And the hotel is, maybe not drone proof, but I don't know if if you're getting missile strikes at the hotel, they'd probably get them at the White House too. Not that I would want that or ever see that or we've ever seen it before. And there's been divisive presence. We've got some people texting in at 855-75-CIVIC. And again, you're welcome to your opinion and sharing them. Lynn's in Golden Valley. I was a bit surprised that both the president and vice president could both sit near each other at an exposed public event in the White House, okay, but outside. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they had a designated survivor somewhere. That's the thing. They keep one politician sequestered. So in case something like this were to happen, but I don't know if they do that. I know they do it during the State of the Union and anytime they're all gathered at the Capitol, but I don't know if something like this, because as I said, everybody was there. Stephen Mount Horeb, Trump's popularity numbers are dropping, so he stages another assassination attempt. And what do we got? One more. Where is it? There it is.
Stevens
Roger.
Point. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jamie.
He says, I'm not calling what happened Saturday evening an assassination attempt, but there are some circumstances that don't make sense. It starts with ushering J.D. Vance out of the suite before Trump. That is not normal protocol.
Yep.
Nothing
a lot of
about
coincidences, friends.
And nothing is normal. That's the thing I think we keep forgetting. Nothing is normal.
Nothing is normal. So many coincidences. All right, in the second hour, we'll do some headlines. We'll do Swipe or Stay. We've got a lot more to talk about. The Packers had a draft this weekend, too. We got to talk a little football. It's Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson. 6:59 right now. You are listening to the Civic Media Network.
All right.
Hey, Parker, what time is it?
59:50.
Coffee time.
Coffee time.
Coffee time.
Coffee time.
Not coffee time for us, sir.
More water?
Ooh.
More water. Because my mouth is getting dry.
A little hungover? Hanging low?
Not today.
All right.
Were you hungover at one point this weekend?
A little.
Good for you. Did you get some scars like we talked about?
No, I
Did
had
you get a story? Did you get any
got a story,
Oh,
all
there you
right.
go.
So what
That's all
party
you
were
need.
you at?
friend's birthday
Okay.
in Whitewater, and then we went to the brewery game on Saturday.
Is that the one they won or lost?
So when they lost,
Okay.
yeah,
You're becoming a mush. Didn't they lose the last time you went?
they've lost every game I've been to this year. Yeah,
Maybe not. Maybe stop.
Maybe you should
Stop
stop
going.
I
going.
should stop going. I really should.
Because
You
they
are-
won on Sunday.
Well, I blame the jerseys because they still have not won in those new City Connects.
Those City Connects are awful.
They are.
Wisco. We're Wisco. No, you're not. Shut up.
That is where I assign the blame and not my presence.
Okay. It's just starting to get to the point where your presence is.
There's always something.
My and chorizo lost too. I was distraught about chorizo. I'll be honest.
The Mexican sausage?
The sausage racers.
What happened?
He lost.
Chorizo
Did you have
lost?
money on
Oh.
him?
He's my favorite.
Oh,
my
he's your
favorite.
Okay. Wow.
My favorite racing sausage. He came out when they introduced him when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
I was a fan of Cinco de Chorizo. There is a video of me now at the game screaming about why he lost and why it's a rigged system against him.
Oh my God! You went rigged.
It is
You're calling
rigged.
for an investigation.
It genuinely is rigged against Cinco de Chorizo.
Is it because he's Mexican?
It might be. I don't know.
Wow.
Is that what it says in the video that now exists?
Is
It
that
is
why
not.
you were shirtless?
No.
How do we get a hold of this said video?
I can send it to you guys if you want. I would not recommend playing it while we're on air.
Wow.
There are a few words that are not FCC compliant. But
Bleep it.
Wow.
Why don't you bleep it? Go through and bleep it, and when we can play
Would it be just one big bleep?
it would be a lot of bleeps. Very.
Oh.
It'd be hilarious, though.
So it was a great rant.
It's like a good 20 seconds, probably. Yeah.
That's what I love. It's a good rant.
Yeah, man. And the more beeps, the funnier.
But yeah, man, it's rigged against him. I will die on that hill.
Well, everybody has to die on some hill, Parker. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Did you watch the draft at all?
It was on. I didn't watch much of it. I watched a little bit, I guess, on what day was that? Saturday morning. I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But not much. I think the Packers only ended up with 6 picks because
They
they
did.
traded another one of them. Yeah.
They did to move up.
Yeah. So
I think it's always interesting because Goody's best drafts have been when he hasn't had a first round pick.
yeah, the Packers usually thrive with the kind of lower stuff. Yeah.
Well, because they got to dig harder. They got to like do the
Yeah.
harder work, and the board doesn't fall the way they want it to. Then.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
This was very much a draft for need.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the personality of the new kicker.
I haven't seen anything from him yet. I haven't looked much, but
Oh my gosh. he is he has got big personality for a kicker. Yeah. So
Nice.
how much time do we have? There's this great story. So when we were in Baraboo, one day I was helping, I didn't cover the game, but I was there with my morning co-host and our sports guy.
Yeah.
And we were entering the school, and it was before a football game, and this kid's sitting out there, and he goes, someday, and this is a true story because we were standing there listening to it. And he goes, the three little boys, and one of them goes, one day I'm going to be an offensive lineman. And all of them are like, yeah, that's awesome. And then another one goes, they're probably about 8, 9 years old. The other one goes, I think someday I should be on defense, that I'd be up against you. And, they're all excited. And the littlest one, who's like 7, goes, I'm going to be a punter. And Mike and I are like, wow.
That's good.
All right.
That's good.
Dream big, kid.
He
Punter.
knows. He knows. He doesn't want to get hit that much. He's not going to have the body type. You know what? I'm just going to get really good at kicking stuff.
It was awesome. We sit
good.
there and laugh for like 20 minutes because Mike was an offensive lineman in college and stuff. So he gets it.
10 seconds.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We hope you're having a great Monday. It is 6 minutes after 7 right now. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and it is time to take a look over into the Middle East and get some headlines coming out of the Iran war. Let's start with this. Iran's foreign minister was in Russia Monday for a meeting with President Vladimir Putin as part of a trip that included 2 stops in Pakistan, where leaders are scrambling to reignite stalled talks between Tehran and Washington.
Also this morning, since the war began, at least 3,375 people have been killed in Iran and at least 2,509 people in Lebanon, where the Israel-Hezbollah fighting resumed 2 days after the Iran war started. Also, 23 people have been killed in Israel and more than a dozen in Gulf Arab states. 15 Israeli soldiers in Lebanon, 13 U.S. service members in the region, and 6 UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon have been killed.
And airlines worldwide have begun canceling flights as the war in the Middle East strains jet fuel supplies and pushes up oil prices. So that's not good news.
No, it is not. And finally, coming out of Iran this morning, China said Monday that it opposed a decision by the United States to sanction one of its refineries for purchasing Iranian crude oil shipments. The U.S. announced Friday that it would sanction Hengli Petrochemicals in China's northeastern port city of Dalian. The measure blocks the company and others that transport Iranian oil from accessing the U.S. financial system. Doesn't really seem like things are getting better in the Middle East,
and if
Brian.
we start imposing sanctions on bigger countries, and that's not going to work. And the fact that we have decided, and by we I mean the administration, to not send any delegates over to negotiate anymore. Because we're not going to spend all our time on planes. It sounds like you the other day, Jimmy. I'm not spending all my time on planes. But you were just trying to go to a business meeting and a little vacation. You were not trying to end a war.
Stop war. Yeah. No.
Which you'd think would be worth the effort, but I guess not. They can call us anytime. That's our foreign policy now. You want to stop a war with us that we started for no reason? You can call us. We'll talk to you on the phone, but we're not coming over to negotiate because really the people we sent and we're going to send again aren't qualified to be negotiating the end of a war. They can negotiate, the closing of an apartment building somewhere, but it's a little beyond their depth. So
it's almost like you need people with real experience and who've been trained in these sorts of tactics before to actually be involved in some of these meetings and some of these processes of the U.S. government.
The problem becomes when you hire really intelligent, qualified people, they are not as likely to just blindly do your bidding. So you bring in family members and associates who are beholden to you for everything. And so they will do what you want because they want that access to power. They want to be in that circle. They want to seem important, and so they will do whatever you tell them. The really smart people who know they don't need you, you don't want them around.
Right.
So
Yep. And it
that is
turns
that.
out
Well,
turns out then you can't negotiate yourself out of a war that you started. But, I digress.
They weren't supposed to fight back. They were supposed to just roll over and let us do what we wanted. Those Iranians.
Turns out they had a whole different mindset going into this than we may have.
They've been
as the
fighting
United
for
States.
centuries.
Yeah.
Not that, and again, that is not an apology for their regime.
No.
It's just the fact. And real diplomats and presidents with U.S. or international policy experience, foreign policy, not even their experience, but the people that they brought around them who had that experience, they would have known that. But we have a guy who works from his gut. And, well, his gut has gotten us into a situation that doesn't look like it's going to end because he doesn't want to negotiate, because he's not the one going over on the plane.
Right.
All right. There's more stuff you need to know.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
Yeah, man. Oh, Parker, you were out of town. You missed it. The big Mifflin Street block party happened. Jamie, I know you were just getting back in town. I hope you didn't try to swing by at the end because things did not go well. The 2026 Mifflin Street Block Party drew an estimated 15 to 20,000 people, making it the largest crowd in several years, rivaled only, I guess, by the crowd at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which was the biggest ever. Madison police reported 37 arrests, most tied to alcohol-related offenses and fighting. Of those arrested, 29 were cited and released. 8 were taken to Dane County Jail. 6 firearms were recovered, 4 at the party, 2 more during fights later on State Street. No shootings, though, were reported, thank goodness. Madison Police Chief John Patterson called the presence of guns concerning, saying firearms don't belong at Mifflin. Yes, good. You didn't go out on a limb. I appreciate that. Crowds moved to State Street in the evening where large fights broke out, some involving juveniles. 2 police officers were injured while responding to those incidents. One was taken to the hospital. About 200 officers were deployed, including units on horseback, bicycles, and a drone team, as the unsanctioned event continues to raise safety concerns among city officials. We talked on Friday about how many resources were being deployed for this party. If it's unofficial, you know what's happening, make it official. And the planning by the city seemed to be up to par. The police department was ready, the fire department, everybody was ready. You get that many people coming in, it's going to get wild.
I mean, this isn't a small gathering. This is massive. And if you're pulling that type of resources, then I feel like there needs to be, and you're right, the city of Madison was prepared for it. But at the same time, if you're going to pull 15 to 20,000 people for an unsanctioned event, perhaps it's time to do a little bit more planning and make sure you can add even more resources to it, because guns
and maybe
in the mix
kick in.
is scary. Yeah, guns in the mix is a little scary.
I mean, that goes to a whole different thing. That's why are there so many guns? Why are people feeling that they have to bring guns to a block party?
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense. It also shows, boy, you got to be really careful, because you don't know when you have any interaction on the streets who has a gun.
Yeah. I also think this is fascinating that this is an unsanctioned event in Madison, when in the Twin Cities, they actually just canceled their sanctioned block party because of the same problems. Massive crowds, couldn't control it. So the Basilica block party, this will be the last year for it ever.
Really?
And so they are not going to be holding it again because of the fact that the cost has gotten too much, the resources have gotten to be too much, the fact that they are having trouble with crowd control because of how popular it has gotten. So I found it fascinating that at the same time we were talking about this Mifflin event, the Basilica news came out over the weekend. I was like, kind of weird how it works. And we're talking about a city much larger with even more resources in Minneapolis,
Yeah, there's going to come a time when who's footing the bill for all the extra police, not only Madison police, state police, county sheriffs. Where's that coming from? All the OT for the fire department, paramedics. The horses have to eat. They don't work cheap.
Right.
So,
and then when you're talking about officers being injured, I think that's a whole different level of conversation that you have to have to make sure not only are they safe and doing their jobs properly and able to do their jobs properly, but if they're literally being threatened, then what does that say for the massive crowds along the way?
The
too?
problem
So-
is with something like this, how do you stop it? Because you can say, the city
Right.
could say, we're cracking down on it. All right, well, how much law enforcement presence do you have to disperse 15 to 20,000
Right.
people peacefully, as opposed to letting it happen? You know, they had said we're not issuing tickets for underage drinking, so these arrests for alcohol related things had to be pretty severe because the police department had kind of laid out a do no harm sort of attitude, which I get. But how does this stop? If it
Yeah.
gets to the point where Madison's like, we can't put up with it anymore, okay, how? How do you stop something that has popped up organically and now has just grown over the years by word of mouth?
How long has, and this is, I'm sure, a conversation you guys had last week, so pardon me for catching up. How long has this block party been going in Madison? How many years has this been for this particular block party? Do we know that?
I know we knew it last week. I don't remember it now.
I'll do a little digging.
Parker's
in the
Parker's
break.
looking at the computer. He's probably
All
getting
right,
it.
all right.
There's
He's
a history
probably
of
looking
the-
up some.
It began in 1969.
Oh, so we're
we go.
talking decades of a block.
It began as a protest to the Vietnam War.
So we're talking decades of an unsanctioned event that is now 15 to 20,000 people. Time to maybe organize a little bit more, folks.
Well, if it's working, why not? If it's working for them.
I guess.
All right.
I
There must
guess.
be other stuff we need to know.
There is other stuff we need to know. We're going to talk about Senator Tammy Baldwin because she's criticized a state Republican plan to fund immigration enforcement agencies, warning it lacks oversight and accountability. That sounds pretty typical for where we're at currently. The Senate passed a budget measure 50 to 48 along party lines, advancing up to $70 billion in funding for immigration and border enforcement through Donald Trump's term. Now, Baldwin said moving forward without Democratic input removes some key guardrails and raised concerns about how federal agents operate. Democrats pushed for restrictions following the deadly incidents in Minneapolis, including limits on mask use by agents and requirements for warrants before entering private property. This measure is part of a strategy to use budget reconciliation, allowing Republicans to bypass the 60-vote filibuster threshold in the Senate. Now, the Department of Homeland Security has been, as we all know, in partial shutdown since February. Both parties failed to reach a broader agreement. This funding proposal now will head to the U.S. House. There's no immediate vote that's been scheduled on this. Now, separately, Senator Baldwin also forced another vote to limit U.S. military action in Iran, but the measure failed again as concerns continue over costs, casualties, and economic impacts, including rising fuel prices.
We mentioned this quickly the other day because it happened at 3:30 in the morning,
Yes.
Friday.
Yes.
And just the reminder that bipartisan, the Senate had come to a funding decision earlier. Just they didn't want to give ICE any more money until there was discussion about some limitations. That passed the Senate, and then it went to Mike Johnson and the Republicans, who would not even call it to the floor. So I think we need to always remind people of that there was a move to have these TSA agents paid way before Easter. Because if you remember, Mike Johnson did not call this to the floor, and then they went on a 2-week hiatus. So
There's been several negotiation attempts in this process, and to which even the president weighed in and said, no, do not work on this. Do not work with the Democrats. So this is just another one of the long-standing issues with this funding.
Well, really quick, here's something you need to know, but you already do. We'd file this under duh. Multiple national polls show Americans are increasingly pessimistic about the economy, with a large majority saying conditions are getting worse. Yeah, a Gallup survey found 47% of Americans rate the economy as poor, while 75% say it's getting worse, both rising from the previous month. A Fox News poll found 70% of voters say the economy is worsening. That matched a recent high. A Marquette Law School poll found 7 in 10 Americans expect inflation to rise over the next year. Many voters attribute economic struggles to Donald Trump's policies, with one showing 56 to 28% margin, saying his policies are hurting rather than helping. Well, on that happy note, let's move on and tell you that next we're going to swipe or stay. So we'll have a little smile on our faces. I'm Brian Noonan. This is Daybreak.
I'm Jamie Martinson, 719 right now. This is the Civic Media Network.
Boy, every poll is saying the same thing, though. It's easy to go, well, it's just a poll, but every poll
right?
is saying the same thing.
What I also love, though, is the Republicans are starting to deflect.
Yes.
That's the big thing, I think. They're starting to deflect, and not to mention the fact that you, at this stage of the presidency, you can no longer blame it on Biden.
Well,
I mean, you can't. You
oh,
own this,
yes, you
yes,
can.
We can always blame it on Biden.
But you own this economy, and you own the tariffs now full outright.
Thanks, Obama.
If Obama hadn't done any of this, we wouldn't have gotten Biden. And if the election hadn't been rigged.
That was also part of the polling, though, for Fox News, is they asked who, because I dove into it a little bit, who people blamed the economy on. And even Republicans laid it on Donald Trump this time. So I thought that was fascinating.
Your boy, DJT.
Your boy. Boy. Who's is he anybody's boy?
I'm sure.
There's still people who.
Mr. Netanyahu.
Kid Rock.
True.
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock.
RFK Jr.
WBZH must have been running a contest.
I was going to say, what
locally.
is Ride?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it must
Luke
be a locally.
Combs
Yeah.
Thing. I don't know.
I was like, right. And it was like right around the time we asked the question about what your reaction was. And I just saw Ride. I'm like, is that a term I'm not familiar with?
No, the country stations are doing a Luke Combs giveaway.
Oh.
Where's Luke Combs playing? I saw he was just at Ohio Stadium.
Country Thunder?
Yeah.
Oh, Country Thunder.
Yeah.
Twin Lakes? Woof.
Or no, it might be State Fair.
I don't remember. But at any rate, all the country stations are doing it. Obviously, BZH in the Northwoods is part of the, just gets tacked on.
Also, to clarify, I was not disparaging Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. I was more so disparaging
Oh, no. Twin Lakes is great.
Country Thunder.
10 seconds.
All us fibs in high school would go up and drink, as in.
Oh, did you go to Country Thunder?
Not me. Are you nuts?
I don't know.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swipe or Stay on Daybreak.
7:22 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hopefully you're having a great Monday. It is time for Swipe or Stay here on the Civic Media Network. This is where we put aside the politics for just a mere 7 minutes, and we talk about things happening in pop culture with our senior producer, Frank. How are you today?
I am doing great, guys. As you know, it's a Monday. Some things happened over the weekend. Usually Mondays are pretty slow.
Kind of boring.
Usually, but I think today we've got a couple more interesting things.
All
so
right.
we're going to get right into it. I'm going to read some vague pop culture headlines. Sorry, Parker, you don't get a regular vote this week. Jamie's back. So Jamie and Brian both get a vote, whether
I'll be
to
happy
stay.
to sit back and let Parker vote
No.
if you want me to. Okay.
No, it was
No.
It
didn't work.
Frank just wanted to do everything. Yeah.
Parker's
Some of
vote
these are
meant nothing.
good. There were a couple I would have swiped on, but those are the ones you stayed on. Anyway, Jamie and Brian get to decide whether to stay and hear more of the story or swipe on to the next one. In the event of a tie, though, Parker, I won't be the tiebreaker. You will. So you have power. You're welcome. We're moving on to story number 1. Star athlete caught cheating.
Ooh, at the game or with a lady or a man?
You'll have to stay to find out.
Stay. There's a
All
lot
right,
of questions.
stay. I think there's multiple questions and layers.
Star basketball player Klay Thompson was caught
Ooh.
cheating on Meg Thee Stallion.
Oh!
Megan Thee
Wow.
Stallion has announced that she has dumped Klay Thompson, saying, "I've made the decision to end my relationship with Klay Trust, fidelity, and respect are non-negotiable for me in a relationship.
Wow.
And when those values are compromised, there's no real path forward. I'm taking this time to prioritize myself and move ahead with peace and clarity.
Good for her.
Kick him to the CURB.
I love that. Good for her.
She went on to perform on Broadway, and she's in the Moulin Rouge show, and had to pause for a second because she received a loud ovation from the audience because obviously this news just dropped that she just had to dump Clay for cheating. So she received a loud ovation. She had to pause a bit and compose herself, fighting back tears, but carried on with the performance.
Khloe Kardashian could learn a thing or two from Meg the Stallion. Just saying.
You
But
know,
anyway.
I'm not one to defend the Kardashians.
Never.
But Khloe's she got cheated on by Tristan Thompson, and then Lamar Odom was a genuine crackhead. So,
Yes.
I mean, she went through it.
She did. I'll give her that. But she could learn a thing or two
And
about
meanwhile,
breaking
she
the ties.
still is not the one with kids with Kanye West and has to deal with that custody
is
battle.
true.
So
This is true.
Next.
Moving on to story number 2. Michael Jackson biopic shells out even more money.
Pass.
Swipe.
All right. Ellen DeGeneres returns to show business.
Ooh. Stay.
Swipe.
Brian is snickering. Jamie's going to stay. Parker, what say you?
I'm in. I'm staying.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't thought of her in forever.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody has.
Yeah, what? Yeah, who cares?
Well, she
Ellen-
moved overseas for a while. But anyway, I digress.
We do have a little bonus story with this, too, so I will continue. Ellen DeGeneres is reprising what is arguably her most famous role as Dory from Finding Nemo.
Oh, yay.
Ellen will be voicing Dory in a new upcoming short film that is confirmed. This comes after her Netflix special in 2024 when she said, "This is the last time you're going to see me. After this, I am done." Not a
That's what
full-length
everybody always
movie,
says.
but just a little short film.
Don't let the door hit you.
Are you not an Ellen fan, Brian?
No.
You believe she's pretty mean, right?
Yeah. I have secondhand knowledge of that. All the rumors are true.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe that. Anyway, here's the bonus headline for since Jamie's a big Disney person now. Toy Story
I saw
5.
the ears. Yeah, how did we not bring up Jamie in the ears? We'll do that
Because we were doing air travel.
Right.
We were.
Toy Story 5 has been rated PG for the first time in the series history. It's
Saucy.
always been G. I know. I don't think any movies are G anymore, to be
No.
honest.
No.
Remember back in the day when a movie in the 80s would be like PG and yet
And
there'd
you
be
thought
like
you were all big
nudity
and-
in it? Yeah, it was
And
wild.
you thought you were all big and bad because you got to go see a PG movie versus a G movie? Yeah. Yes.
And now there's nothing. All right, moving on to number 4. Spotify announces their top 20 artists in honor of their 20th anniversary.
Swipe.
Okay. Man,
Tough crowd.
brutal today. White Lotus star leaves show 1 week into filming.
Ooh.
Stay.
All right, I'll stay.
Good, because this is the last story we have. Who said that? All right, Helena Bonham Carter has left The White Lotus.
Really?
A rep for HBO said, with filming just underway on season 4 of The White Lotus, it had become apparent that the character, which director Mike White created for HBC, did not align once on set. The role has subsequently been rethought, is being rewritten, and will be recast in the coming weeks. HBO, the producers, and Mike White are saddened that they won't get to work with her, but remain ardent fans and very much hope to work with the legendary actress on another project soon. So, allegedly, there's no bad blood here between the two parties. The character just didn't work, which I find hard to believe when you have such a big star, especially in the UK. Are you telling me you can't rewrite that character and make it work?
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Come on. And there have been a lot. If you watch the show, which I did, all the seasons, there have been characters who didn't really work on every season.
Right.
So something else. Oh, this is juicy. There's
something
some
gonna
It
come
feels
out.
like there's more there.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. But anyway, that's Swipe or Stay. Jamie, welcome back. Parker,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry you didn't get to do a whole lot today, but
Well, he did override.
we got
my
a tougher
swipe.
crowd.
We'll try
It
to
was a
create
tough
more
one.
animosity tomorrow.
Listen.
Make sure that you get your opinion heard too.
Frank, you're
'Cause
coming
it's
off
important.
you're coming off a big week. Your swiper stays were very, very top tier.
Always.
My meter was. But let's talk
get
draft
it.
after this. Should we talk draft? Jacob Westendorf is going to join us, so we'll do that after this. It's Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
All right, I know you guys swiped on it, but can you guess Spotify's top artist?
Taylor. Swifty Swift.
Taylor's up there. I feel like I know this for some reason.
Kanye.
I'm trying to think. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to say it's not Taylor. It's like, is it Sabrina? Sabrina Carpenter's got to be up there too.
All right, Jamie's going with Sabrina. Brian's going with T-Swizz.
Is it like
Parker?
the Beatles? Is it the Beatles? I feel like
The
it could get a
Beatles
weird
are
sleeper.
not on the top 20 most listened.
So I'm not even close.
Taylor Swift is number one. Brian
Okay.
did get it right.
Okay.
Sabrina Carpenter also did not make the list.
Wow.
Wow.
Brian, do you want to go for 2 for 2?
No, I've exhausted my knowledge.
All right. Hey, Jacob.
Good morning, Jake.
Good morning,
Morning,
Jacob.
Jacob.
And lady, good morning.
And lady.
Oh, let's see.
I am very curious to hear your thoughts on the draft.
Are you? How'd you feel about Chicago's? I know it's not super popular down.
You mean drafting another tight end before an edge player? Yeah, it's just Chicago is business as usual.
Chicago being Chicago.
I had the pleasure of having I was talking to my parents on FaceTime, and I can hear the draft is on in the background on my dad's TV. And I'm talking to my mom, and my dad's just losing his mind that they didn't draft an edge rusher like in round 3 or 4. What the hell are they doing? And I was like, it's the Bears. What do you mean? We might be playing in Indiana.
Yeah, they'll be in Hammond soon. Don't worry about it. Gateway to Gary.
Gateway to Gary.
Gateway to Gary, Jesus.
The Gateway to Gary Bears.
That's funny.
Frank, you'll be able to get gas cheaper and no tax on smokes when you go to the game.
Yeah, it would just take me 2 hours to get there.
Well,
What I love is that Brian Gutekunst did not go outside of his athletic, freakish mode that he likes to get into. Everybody was like very much in that athletic mode that he goes for and rates, because holy buckets, when you look at their RASs, he was not. He was going for the athletic freaks of nature.
Yeah, outside to tackle. That's really the only one.
Yeah. And I love that they drafted a kicker with the last name Smack. I think that's.
I love that. That made me happy too.
And Brian Gutekunst with like an actual moment at the press conference afterwards. How do you judge a kicker?
I screenshotted that. I'm keeping that.
Okay.
Parker's going to make it a GIF and just send it to me throughout the season. Guaranteed.
Considering Brandon McManus didn't have a ton of those this past season, I
really.
guess, yeah.
No, Frank. Whenever you book a guest, I'll go. It's good.
Any reference to Cody Parkey ever?
We were talking about that last week because we were talking about like draft busts and like what does Mitch Trubisky's career look like if Parkey makes that kick?
It's a good question. I got a friend who his now wife, that was their first date, was Bears Eagles.
Shut up.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I was like, dude, that could have gone either way.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
I'm like,
really rolling the dice.
yeah. And yeah, it was. And like after the game was over, it's like, well, how do you look at it? Like it can't get worse than this, or this is a bad omen and we should just stop now. Turns out they got married. So
Right.
All right, guys, we got 15 seconds to our back. Jacob, I'll give you hand signals when we get down to our last couple of minutes. And if you hear music, that means we just have to wrap it up.
okay, you're frozen. So they have like an internet outage in my area, so I'm making do with what I have. I can hear you guys fine. You're just all frozen.
Okay.
It's kind of a funny look.
Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Now, more Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:35 right now. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday morning. Hopefully your day is off to a great start. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. If you were an NFL fan, your eyes were set on Pittsburgh over the weekend where the NFL draft was happening along the banks of one of the many rivers in Pittsburgh. The Packers did not have a first-round pick for the first time in 40 years, but they started picking on Friday with the number 52 pick. How did the Packers do in the draft? You have your opinions, and you're welcome to share them at 855-75-CIVIC. But Jacob Westendorf has been covering the Packers since 2015 for Packers on SI. He's been with us on the program before, and he joins us again. I think you can follow him on X at Jacob Westendorf. Jacob, you said you were having some internet problems, but can you hear us?
Uh-oh, did we just lose him?
Yes, we have lost
It
Jacob.
looks like he just got booted out of the studio.
He is out.
All right.
He's gone. He's done. He's never coming back. No, he'll be back. Hopefully we can get him back.
There he is.
There he is.
Did we get you? All right.
I can hear you guys just fine. It literally kicked me out like right as you were giving me the intro. So I apologize.
Oh, it was probably one of the best intros I've ever done, Jacob. So I'm sorry you missed it. But all right.
To hear it.
Let's overall, and I want to ask you this. I want you to get your grade overall for the draft because everybody I've seen, the highest I saw was an A-, and the lowest came from Sports Illustrated that put it at a D for the Packers draft this year. Where would you put the overall draft for the Packers this year?
I know that the grades are like a fun thing to do.
We lost him again.
All right.
All right.
Tell you about we'll talk about Parker. You get to, or Frank, you can jump back in and do a little footballing if you want, because in round 2 with the 52nd pick out of South Carolina, the Packers took a cornerback. Brandon Sis, is that how you say his name?
Cisse is
Cisse.
how you pronounce. Yes, is how you pronounce
Cisse.
his name.
Well,
that's how I've heard it anyway.
That's too hard. But Cisse, so a cornerback. Parker is on the phone. We're getting.
We're working on getting Jacob back in here so we can get his opinion.
See, I don't know. I mean,
do we have him?
We've got him via phone.
All right.
All right. Hello, Jacob.
Hi, guys. Sorry about that.
No, you're
Don't worry
good.
about it. Technology is fickle. So I know you started to say
They picked this week.
grading is fun. So maybe you don't want to grade, but just overall, how did you think the Packers did?
I mean, from the time that that last pass from Jordan Love at Soldier Field fell incomplete to end their season until now, we've been talking about how they need a cornerback and maybe several to do so. So when the time came for them to be on the clock, instead of maybe galaxy braining this thing, which they have done in the past, or maybe a team from Chicago did over the weekend, but they grabbed a position for a player at the biggest need that they have. And it's somebody who, after talking to him, there's certain things that are not afforded to you when you play football in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And like, I'm not keeping any secrets. Green Bay is not New York City. It's not Los Angeles. Like it is football and very little else to do in that regard. And this is a guy who wants to play football, and that's about all he wants to do. So he is all about ball, as Matt LaFleur would like to say. I think he's going to fit in really well with what Green Bay wants to do on the defensive side of the ball. And he's 20 years old. So with him being 20 years old, there's plenty of room for him to develop and plenty of room for him to grow into. It may not be immediately, it may not be this year, but if you're counting on a rookie to be immediately awesome for you this year, like the year that Colston Loveland had for Chicago last year, just for example, is pretty rare. For the most
Right.
part, rookie seasons that are pretty good, especially in Green Bay, look a lot more, maybe not 0 touchdowns, but look a lot more like the one Matthew Golden had. Modest production, and you could see the vision, but it's not like he's going to turn into a star. So I don't know, maybe Cisse turns into a star. Certainly hope so if you're a Packers fan. But for now, I think that they added a talented cornerback to their secondary, which is exactly what everybody's been clamoring for.
I mean, this to me, as I watched the weekend progress and was checking in on the updates, this very much felt like a draft of need for the Green Bay Packers. And I know Brian Gutekunst always likes to tell us that no, we go with our board, and I think they absolutely did. But did you think this was more of a needs based? Did you find the value or any specific reaches, Jacob, watching them draft this weekend?
Yeah, I remember one of the themes that I wrote about for this weekend was that they drafted for need. And Ted Thompson used to always say, well, that's just the way that it worked out. And Jason Wilde made the joke that he said that when they traded up for Clay Matthews. And it's like, well, it's not just the way that it worked out then if you traded up to go get that player. But in this weekend's case, I mean, their three biggest needs coming into the weekend were cornerback, defensive tackle, and pass rusher. So what were their first three picks? A cornerback, a defensive tackle, and a pass rusher. I think that Goody talked about how when they build their board, their needs are kind of baked into their analysis of what they're doing. So he thinks that there's some inherent kind of bias with the way that their board is built anyways. But, I mean, I don't know how much you can argue. You can maybe argue with the defensive tackle. They moved up to pick him. So, again, not just the way that it worked out with the way that they were able to add Chris McClellan, but maybe if you were a guy or a girl who likes Dominique Orange a little bit more than Chris McClellan. But I think Gutekunst talked about that afterwards, saying they wanted somebody that was not a one-dimensional run defender. He didn't; those are my words, not his. Which would be the case for Orange, who ended up in Minnesota. So they wanted somebody who could play up and down the line and have a chance to rush the passer, and McClellan can certainly do that. And then on their first pick of day 3, the guy they took denied, Dennis Sutton. That's somebody who some people were projecting to the Packers with their first pick at 52. So projections are just projections. But when you're able to add a guy at 120 that some people thought you may not get at 84, let alone 120, I think that is kind of a boon for Green Bay's pass rush. And that is another guy. In terms of culture fit, he played in the Orange Bowl. For those that don't follow college football, Penn State had a bunch of guys come back. Their goal was to kind of do what Michigan did in 23 or Ohio State did in 24, where they had a bunch of seniors come back and try and win a national championship. They failed tremendously, which is why James Franklin got fired. And then they asked Dennis Sutton at the Orange Bowl, why are you playing in an era of opt-outs and guys not playing the rest of seasons and just stuff like that? He said, I love football. I don't understand the thought of not playing. And I asked him about that, and he said, I love football. I need football. This is all I've known how to do since I was a little boy. And again, when you talk about playing in Green Bay, those are things that, especially in this era, and Gutekunst and LaFleur and all these guys have talked about it in recent years, where it's, in the NIL era, the transfer portal era, trying to figure out, do these guys want football and what the things of playing football bring to them, or do they actually need the game? And this is a guy who sounds like he absolutely needs the game.
Jacob Westendorf is our guest. He has covered the Packers since 2015 for Packers on SI. That's a Sports Illustrated channel. You can follow him on X at Jacob Westendorf. Are a lot of buzz over the final pick for the Packers, round 6, number 216. They take a kicker. Did that also fall under the needs category? Is this something that makes sense to you? Because are kickers usually drafted, or are they just picked up sometime in the season?
Yeah, normally they're not. And the NFL has struggled tremendously at, figuring out who the good kickers coming out of college are. So a lot of times they end up, Brandon Aubrey didn't come out of college, for example, and he's the best kicker in the sport. But it was interesting just because they've already paid McManus's roster bonus. They owed him $1 million on the third day of the league year. Now that's couch cushion change, but it's not, it's not $0 either.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's interesting. But the last time we talked, we were talking about a guy who left 7 points on the board in a playoff game that the Packers lost by 4 points. So, and McManus really struggled through an injury last year, and he struggled when he was healthy as well. So I'm curious to see what their thought is. I don't know how much they trust McManus from distance now, and I think that in this modern era of football, 60 is kind of the new 50 in terms of field goals. So if you're not able to have a kicker who can kick these bombs from way, way out, you're kind of at a competitive disadvantage in that way. So I was surprised still that they took one, just because they've been publicly very vocally supportive of McManus throughout the duration of this offseason and even in the immediate aftermath of the loss to Chicago. And this is a team who has unceremoniously cut kickers when given opportunities, especially since Mason Crosby retired. So I think that it was a little surprising to see them do that. Obviously, an all-time moment in the press conference where Gutekunst raises his arms and says that's how he scouts a college kicker. He did say more than that, just for the record. Yeah. He did talk about more stuff than that, but it was funny. I do think it's something that I can understand why the Packers would want to upgrade at kicker, because last year it was a legitimate weakness for them. But I'm interested to see. They say it's a competition in camp. I have a hard time believing that they traded up for a player in the draft, used, essentially 3 draft choices, the one they got, and then 2 to move up to go get him, to say that guy's not going to be the starting kicker on the first day of the season. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that works in camp.
What do we know about him, though?
Yeah.
He made, I think it was like 80% of his kicks in college. Yeah. Where he struggled was between 40 and 49. He was really good from 50 plus. He made a 57-yarder in the All-Star game that he played in over the time frame. So it was funny. I asked him, he played in Gainesville. That's in Florida. We are in the Midwest. There's a little bit of a difference in weather in those two places. I was like, I'll ask the easy one. How's it like kicking in Gainesville versus, kicking in the Midwest? And he was like, well, I'm from Maryland, so I've kicked in the cold before. He talked about how he kicked field goals on a Christmas game when he was playing in high school and stuff like that. So he's got to kind of get back into the swing of things. It's not completely foreign to him. Having been on the East Coast when it's cold versus the Midwest and Green Bay, Wisconsin when it's cold, I do still think there is a difference.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that works out for him.
Do you think that we saw this team help the new coaching staff? Because from start to finish, other than basically the offensive side of the ball, you are under new leadership on the defensive side, under special teams. Do you think that was what these picks targeted, maybe helping out these new coaches and getting them the pieces that they actually need to go in and do their jobs?
I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is that when they re-signed Jaden Reed right before the draft started, and then immediately said they still plan to re-sign Christian Watson and Tucker Kraft, the core of their offense, assuming those 2 extensions get done, are essentially under wraps for at least the next 2 or 3 years. So then you look at the defensive side of the ball. That's kind of where they ended up needing some more help. And I think adding 2 talented players to the secondary with Cisse and Damani Jackson, a defensive tackle and a defensive end, being able to rush the passer and add some reinforcements to the front, which was really decimated by the end of the season. And then obviously the kicker with special team stuff. And actually, even Dennis Sutton, their 4th-round pick, can help on special teams as well. He blocked 3 kicks in 2025. So that's something that he's at least shown the ability to do in the recent past. So I think you're onto something by saying that, they're trying to help the new guys on that side of things. I also think that their offense, not that everything is set and everything's perfect on the offensive side of the ball, but they certainly have their core locked in more so on that side than they do on defense.
Do you predict any of these guys making you talked about before rookies coming in and making an impact. Are any of these guys going to make, in your opinion, an impact faster than the others that got drafted?
Yeah, I think Chris McClellan is somebody who'll play 25 to 30% of snaps at defensive tackle, and those could be as impactful or, not impactful as they end up to be. But that's the guy who has, at least in my opinion, right this very second, the clearest path to playing time, because Cisse is going to come in. Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, Benjamin St. Juste. For better or worse, the Packers do like those 3 players, and they're ahead of him on the depth chart as we speak. Dennis Sutton, there's an opportunity there, especially with Parsons being injured. But again, Brenton Cox and all those guys, they've got some guys behind him. So I'd look at the defensive tackle for that.
Well, Jacob Westendorf, always good to talk to you. You can follow Jacob on Twitter at Jacob Westendorf. We will talk to you again.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.
We're a little late. Clear. Jacob, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. And
Thanks,
thank you for your
Jacob.
flexibility in calling in.
Yeah, no problem at all, guys. Sorry about that.
No,
Oh, not your fault.
Okay.
We get it. You did fine. Did great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Take care of yourselves.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, the internet screws you.
Yeah.
It's funny how, because that happened with the German Packer, too.
Yes.
It's fine.
Anytime
during
we
the
talk
break.
about the Packers, Frank does something to the internet at my instruction to make sure that we cannot talk Packers.
I was surprised they didn't do more for the offensive line.
I was expecting at least 2. Yeah.
Considering how inconsistent they were last year.
Yeah. And their injury bug was really bad.
Yeah, well, and some of it you just can't prevent.
No,
I mean,
but
when
you do need
when
depth.
people are breaking legs and
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at one point they were like they literally had gone through everybody they could possibly play on offensive line.
They had, and I think that they went like 7 or 8 games on different rosters. Or on different
rotations.
lines.
Yeah. I did like the guy that they chose, who can also. I thought that was it was interesting that he can snap left-handed too.
Oh, I didn't read that.
Yeah, he can. Which, I mean, if you're primarily a righty, but you break a finger or a hand,
yeah,
because
What the
it
hell?
happens,
Yeah.
and he could potentially snap with his left hand. I thought that was interesting.
You know what, guys? We've just been so screwed lately.
I mean, last
Let's
year
just
I would
do
have
it.
taken a left-handed
Let's just-
snap at
yeah,
one point, as
100%.
bad as the line got for a while. I was like, how much can Stenovich still get out there and be part of the O-line? Because there were a couple games that if somebody would have went down, you were really screwed. You had nobody left.
So who's our biggest defensive tackle we can put in here? Give me one of the big boys.
Because that one game, didn't the team lose like 2 offensive linemen in one game?
Yeah.
And they were already like the second and third string.
Yeah, I want to say it might have been the Browns game.
It was insanity.
Yeah.
And I get it's football, it happens, but it was last year it was crazy.
Yeah. No. And Packers in general have had pretty bad injury bugs of late.
I just love that people are always like, fire the training staff. Well, they did. This is the
They
whole new
did.
training staff, and now they have all
Now
broken
they have UW
bones.
Health instead of Belkin, I think
and
it was.
and Matt LaFleur's cousin-in-law. That's the guy they hired from the 49ers. He's married to he's his wife's cousin.
Couple 10 seconds.
Fairly solid and better than expected. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you want to be part of the conversation, well, we'd always love to hear from you. 1-855-752-4842. That's 1-855-75-CIVIC. It's 7:52 right now. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. We touched on this a little bit on Friday, but we wanted to bring it up again because it is important. Because poly markets, now I don't dabble in that kind of thing. You know what these poly markets are. You can bet on pretty much anything. And there's been a lot of poly market stuff in the news lately because last week, if you remember, a special forces soldier who was involved in the raid in Venezuela was arrested for insider trading because he made a few $100,000 on a poly market because he made the bet right before that Venezuela's leader would be taken out before the end of the month. And voila, what do you know? So he's charged with a number of different crimes, not the least of which is using classified information to make a bet. So that's been happening. We heard about Pete Hegseth. This was stocks, but making money or having his broker buying all sorts of defense contractor stock right before the bombs started dropping. And there's all kinds of poly market things. And last week tonight with John Oliver, last Sunday, not yesterday, but the week before, had just done a whole thing on poly markets. Well, now our Attorney General here in Wisconsin, Josh Kaul, who is always good about joining lawsuits and taking people, calling them to the carpet and taking them to task. He's suing prediction markets, Kalshi, Coinbase, Polymarket, and others, alleging that they are running illegal gambling schemes in Wisconsin. And you know I love a good scheme, Jamie, but I like to keep them legal.
And this one's fascinating, I think, because Call is planning to file 3 separate lawsuits in Dane County Circuit Court against these companies, alleging that they are bypassing Wisconsin state laws by characterizing sports bets as event contracts. Now, so Call, in a news conference that was held last week, said, quote, sports betting and other forms of commercial gambling have long been illegal in the state of Wisconsin. No company is above this law, no matter how creatively those companies try to disguise the activity that they're engaged in. Now, he also said that the state is asking the judge overseeing this particular case to declare gambling in this manner a violation of the law and for it to be banned throughout the state. And he's not seeking any monetary damages in this particular lawsuit, which I also find interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't understand the growth of this.
Yeah.
But he also said, and we remember, that Tony Evers signed the online gambling bill here in Wisconsin. All has to go through the tribal nations. Everything has to be there. Now, Josh Call is saying this lawsuit has nothing to do with that.
Right.
But again, timing. But either way, I don't know. Now, we've talked about your sons before and their penchant for wagering. Do they use these? Because I'm looking at Polymarket just for example. I'm looking at their thing now where you can bet on the permanent peace deal between the U.S. and Iran. You can bet on that. You can bet on Bitcoin going up or down. Which company has the best AI by the end of April? You can bet on that. What else? Weed rescheduled by. Well,
I do not believe that my older of the two, who does the most prop betting, uses any of these particular companies. I don't know exactly what he uses, but to my knowledge, it's not the 3 that are named in this particular lawsuit. And his is primarily, and I know that these companies do all sorts of different bets.
Lots of bets.
He's primarily sticks to just the sports bet sites is primarily what he sticks to. And, since he's in ripe old age of 22 and now handling a lot of his own bills, he's much more careful in where he prop bets. Yeah. And how many fees and things are involved and make sure that, he's actually going to make some money and doesn't have to pay in a whole bunch at the end or, for actually wagering and that type of stuff.
You can wager on everything.
You can wager on really anything at this point. You can, these companies basically will allow you to wager on elections. They'll allow you to wager on the big award shows every year. There's probably a bet out there for something in Swiper Stay that we talked about just a bit ago about the top 5 on the Spotify list.
A lot of jumps on a lot of action right now, Jamie, if you want to bet on the Madrid Open. A lot of action going on now. Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know anything about the Madrid
soccer.
Open. Yeah. So
I would not be betting on that one.
Well, I believe it's tennis.
Is it tennis?
So
I think Madrid
see,
Open's tennis.
That would not happen. That
I
would
watched
not
a
help.
lot of soccer when I was in Florida. Every TV we went on and every bar had some sort of soccer event on it. So that's where soccer came from.
You could bet on the highest temperature in Hong Kong for the 28th of April.
Oh.
Why would I care? But somebody's going to.
Because you might make some money off of that.
I could make some money. If I were going on vacation, perhaps I would bet on somewhere. I don't know, where would I go? I could, Taipei, April 28th. I could figure it out. Do I want to, now right now, they're even money on the highest temperature. It's either going to be 32 degrees Celsius or 31 degrees Celsius. So now I got to do the math. See, I guess it's interesting, but it does have the ability to be very shady, which I guess is what Josh Call is jumping into.
It does, absolutely. And really, this isn't just a lawsuit. This is about who's going to set the rules for the state of Wisconsin. And I think as you look into this, is it the state and the tribal nations working together, or is it going to be the tech and the financial companies finding ways around the system? Because I think that because sports betting in this state has been so tightly controlled. And as we mentioned, and as you rightly pointed out, Brian, it is only only allowed through the tribal agreements. And that's not just a legal detail. That's about respecting tribal sovereignty, honoring the compacts, and making sure that there are guardrails in place, which I feel like is why we are diving into this a little bit more as a state.
Well, we are through 2 hours already, and if you're listening on WMDX, you will be leaving us. But fear not. You can always go to the free Civic Media app. You can watch the stream, which is now happening not only on YouTube, but on Facebook. We got to go because Parker's yelling at me to say it's Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
All right. Okay. Guess what? And for a second that you forgot it was 50.
Well, that's why I like to see you flail like a psychopath. No! Get out, get out, get out, get out. Get out, get out.
There is a IFB buttons in here so the producer can talk to people in studio without it going over air, but it's not wired in. It doesn't work.
Why?
Great question.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that part I don't know.
What was that part?
I know I was about to say, and what Jamie was just saying to me, is it's not wired in because of the fact that we're remote. So if it to be able to use it to you, it would have to go to air.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. But that was one of those moments I would have been like, 50, 50, 50! Brian!
I know. I don't blame you. Listen, my track record is not good, and you are not the first producer to be at the whims of it.
To be fair, it's a dumb out time.
I try. I try my best.
You do well.
The content is just so fascinating.
Oh, yes. I know you're all over that Taipei temperature.
I'm making a lot of money on world temps, Parker. That's how I'm funding my retirement. But world temps. I got maps. I got charts.
Yeah.
I have people
Is
seeing
Corey
the
helping
clouds.
you with that? The
Yes.
weatherman?
Yep, we're in cahoots. Got to make sure I've always got something to do. Oh man,
Just got to make sure it's a legit temperature. Can you imagine? You could get some variance.
you could.
Got to make sure that
Yeah,
it's
where
accurate.
who gives the official thing?
Who says it's 32 degrees?
I'm so angry. Today I have to go. I just bought a brand new lawnmower, a Toro.
Okay.
Now, my last Toro was one that I inherited from my parents, and that Toro lasted almost 30 years. It was a workhorse.
This is a familiar tale. Yeah, okay.
I bought this new Toro. Yesterday I was going to cut the grass for the first time.
Yeah.
Got about 10 minutes in, and the self-propel personal pace system completely went out. I was like, well, I have to finish. I had to push a lawnmower that was not meant to be pushed without self-propel. And my lot is a hill.
Yeah, of course it is.
It was awful. I came in, I was so tired. Took a quick shower, and then I came up to work on the show.
Yeah.
And I passed out.
Yeah.
It was so now I have to go and go, hey, I spent almost $600 on this lawnmower, and it worked for 10 minutes. I got to see. I got to see if Ace Hardware is going to stand behind it or if they're going to make me go to Toro.
Yeah.
But man,
that sucks.
I hate spending
Uphill.
And it just feels cheaper than the old ones, you know?
Well, of course.
Everything but it started on the first pull every time, which was
Lawnmower?
great. Yeah. Brand new, first time self-propel system goes out after 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yep. Personal pace.
Do you have a big yard?
Yeah, I do, and it's on a hill. It's a hill. Yeah.
That was the
That's
greatest
why I
moment
couldn't get something like Ride because I'd roll it.
It was
I mean,
the
it's-
greatest
the
moment of
backyard
our
is
life
steep.
when we realized how small our yard was at our current rental, and we could just get an electric lawnmower.
Get a Roomba.
There's several people in our neighborhood who
I
have
like
those.
those.
God.
And they're creepy as hell.
Yeah, they are. I've seen them running, and it's like, all right, where are we?
And the people who have them have dogs, so the thing's always got like dog poop all over the sidewalk and stuff because it's stuck to the wheels. And
Oh my God!
Go pick up that dog poop before you run the Roomba.
I think they turn it on before they go to work because I usually walk Aspen in the morning, and the Roomba is working. The yard Roomba is working, and there's not a car in sight. So I think they probably just program it, let it do its thing while they're at work all day.
Interesting.
And it has to take all day because that thing moves at like a snail pace.
Huh.
My dog is so scared of it.
Yeah, I bet.
She's like, "What the hell is that thing, Mom?"
Yeah.
She will sidestep. She will do everything she can when it's outside.
When you were saying about the dog poop going on the side of it, Brian, it reminded me, we had these neighbors years ago who did not look after their yard at all. And they let their dogs in the backyard, and they didn't ever pick up the dog poop hardly. But they also let like the stuffed toys out there.
Ew.
Really?
And then they get wet.
And my dad watched this happen, and I honestly, one of my biggest regrets in life is I didn't get to see this happen. He mowed over one of the stuffed animals, and my dad just watched a stuffed arm go flying.
Oh, Jesus.
He's like, "It's God as my witness." That was one of the funniest things
That's
I've
hilarious.
ever seen.
I told this story on the
We
air
got
once.
10
and
seconds.
People hated it. I hit a bunny nest once in deep grass.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
It's 8:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're in Richland Center listening on WRCE, or in Wisconsin Rapids listening on WFHR, or in Hayward on WBZH, we are certainly glad that you decided to join us this morning. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, looking for a rainy day in Madison and across the state. Just what we need in some areas of Wisconsin, more rain. And keeping up with the good news, why not? Let's look at some headlines from Iran. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, is in Russia ahead of a meeting with President Vladimir Putin to discuss the conflict with the U.S. after the diplomats' visit with key mediators in Pakistan and Oman over the weekend. That's what we need. Russia getting involved.
Right? Speaking of Araghchi, he gave a list of Iran's red lines to be conveyed to the U.S. during the trip to Pakistan. Iranian state media reporting this. This red lines included nuclear issues and the Strait of Hormuz, according to news outlets.
Wow, and those seem to be something that the administration is very willing to talk about. Not over there, though. You got to call them on the phone, because if you didn't hear, Jared Kushner is not going over. We're tired of the quote was, "We don't need to be on 15 hours on flights. We're very busy." Right, with a war. You started a war 2 months ago. That's why you're busy. You started a war. So no, but now all negotiations will take place via phone, or probably, as is the case with our administration, on social media, which is not. Doesn't seem like how Iran goes to social media, but they go to mock with their Lego videos, which I don't know if you've seen these. Man, they are accurate.
They are accurate.
Crazy accurate. And they come out fast. I don't know who's making them, but they're doing them fast. Anyway, Donald Trump said yesterday that he defended his decision to cancel his envoy's trips to Pakistan, saying Iranian authorities can call if they want to talk, while reiterating that the war could come to an end very soon. Why is nobody paying their phone bills so you don't get to talk to them? You'll just say it's over, because you still have naval blockades over there. You still have carriers in the area. It doesn't seem like there's any movement toward ending it. And again, I'm not a diplomacy expert, but telling them we're not coming doesn't seem very diplomatic.
It's not really an olive branch that they're extending there, is it?
No.
No, it's certainly not. And, 2 weeks, that's what we've been told since this started 8 weeks ago, that we're only 2 weeks from this ending. So I don't know what 2 weeks actually looks like in this administration's mind, but we're well beyond that.
What does anything look like other than squiggles and stick drawings?
And in other headlines out of Iran, Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, is up 2.5% to nearly $108 a barrel. That is the highest level that it's been so far in the past 3 weeks.
But according to the White House, gas prices are plummeting.
Well, they're not. And I was seeing reports they're not. They're not.
Hold on. Are you sure about that?
I was seeing reports over the weekend that in a lot of the Midwest, including Wisconsin, we're going to see some of our highest prices over the next few days, simply because of refineries, because of the season switch, and all of the different things. So if you do have to fill up, I would suggest, or even if you've got a half a tank and you're thinking you can ride it out this week, but you're worried about the price, I'd maybe stop by your favorite gas station today, and just in case, we see these prices in the Midwest, including Wisconsin, skyrocket.
My wife has begun every time we drive by a gas station. And imagine, you know how many gas stations are on the street. She reads out the price. $4.49, $4.18. I'm like, what are we playing bingo? Yes, I see them. I know what I pay for gas.
It's like Battleship.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, are you hoping that you'll suddenly there'll be a $2.99 and I'll just pull a power U-turn and pull in? I mean, I would if you saw a $2.99, but it's not going to happen.
At that point, I think I'd go get extra gas cans and fill those up.
I'd buy another car just to fill it up.
Oh my goodness. I mean, literally, that's where we're at right now is people trying to use the Gas Buddy apps and everything they can to find the cheapest gas possible because of the prices right now.
Well, that's what's happening overseas, but there is always more stuff we need to know.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
Jamie, you love talking about money and politics. It is one of your that and gerrymandering, two of your pet things. So you must love this story. DoorDash spent about $2 million on lobbying in Wisconsin, more than any other group this session. $2 million by DoorDash. I don't have shade on DoorDash. I've never used them. I'm chastised daily by my daughter for not using DoorDash. No, I don't use them. But the goal was to pass a bill creating. You use it all the time? They probably wondered where you were. There was all last week.
Oh, no, I was DoorDashing stuff to the motel while we were in Florida.
Oh, my God.
I can't go without my apps. It's fine. Anyway.
I guess not. That's fine. The bill was to create portable benefits like health care, paid leave, and retirement tied to how much gig workers drive. But the trade-off workers would be officially classified as contractors, meaning no minimum wage protections, unemployment insurance, or workers' comp. The governor voted to veto the bill. He cited lack of bipartisan support and concerns about worker protections. DoorDash logged nearly half of the 543 lobbying hours spent on the bill, showing how aggressively one company pushed it. The company argued gig work is meant to be flexible part-time income, not traditional full-time employment. Lobbying overall is massive here in Wisconsin, over almost 51,000 hours spent across 545 bills. 248 bills received zero lobbying attention, which is why we never hear of them. And they never darken your door. Next biggest spenders, including Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce and Renewable Energy Group Wisconsin Infrastructure Investment Now. So one of the most lobbied issues wasn't widely known, a transmission line. Transmission line tied to about $1.8 billion in energy projects, showing how high stakes and behind the scenes some lobbying efforts are.
You want to know why Wisconsin politics never stops and why we have so many conversations nationwide about Wisconsin politics? 51,000 hours of lobbying. That's all you need to know. That's how much you need to know about what's happening in Wisconsin and the amount of money that flows in to our politics when it is politics for Wisconsin. It's really all you need to know. The $2 million from DoorDash and 51,000 hours of lobbying. That's it. It's all you need to know. It's crazy.
It's
crazy. This is why it's a pet peeve of mine. And this is why I think that money in politics needs to stop, because that's ridiculous. And especially if there were 248 bills that received zero attention, what were those bills? Now I have questions. Were they things that would have actually helped the
Don't
constituents?
look into it. You just got back from vacation. Don't look, because once you dive into that, all you're going to be is angry. I guarantee it.
I know,
Out of the
you're right.
248, there's got to be at least a dozen that you go, this really would have helped people. This is really important, but nobody threw money at it, so we don't get to see it. But DoorDash, boy, they're making money if they can have the lobbyist here throw $2 million at something.
It's all, those numbers. That's all you need to know. If you ever want to know why Wisconsin politics is all screwed up, those are the two numbers that you have to keep in mind. In other news headlines of stuff you need to know, the owner of the Minocqua Brewing Company, Kirk Bangstead, is facing some backlash for a social media post that he made through his company, suggesting that violence against Donald Trump following that shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was justified. The post referenced marksmanship and promoted a free beer day tied to Trump's death. Now, Bangstead has previously posted similar messages and sells merchandise referencing the president's death. The Democratic Party of Wisconsin condemned the post, saying the rhetoric is completely unacceptable and should be retracted immediately. Democratic leaders, including Mandela Barnes, who is a gubernatorial candidate, spoke out, saying, quote, "It's completely unacceptable, and I am thankful for the actions of law enforcement who acted swiftly and bravely to keep everyone safe." Democratic gubernatorial candidate Missy Hughes also put out a statement saying, quote, "Political violence has no place in our society." She went on to say it must never be tolerated or embraced. Now, Bangstead has defended those comments in follow-up posts and even criticized Democrats who denounced his remarks. He is a political donor. He operates a PAC involved in Wisconsin political issues, increasing some scrutiny over those statements. And the incident obviously comes as Wisconsin heads into a very competitive next few months in this 2020 election cycle.
I wonder if the Secret Service will be paying him a visit, because I didn't, and I know broadcasters have a different line that we have to stay under. We're no calls to action, no inciting violence, that kind of thing, which makes sense. But I thought if you made a threat against the president, and I guess he would say he didn't make a direct threat, he was just hoping that someone would be able to do something and offering a reward on a day that this may have happened. But he will also argue that he didn't say that his free beer day is for the death. People die every day. But I don't buy it. I think he's out of line. I think it's very reckless. It's very just callous. Again, I hold no good thoughts toward this administration, but I would never wish them assassinated. I don't want harm to come to them. I just want them to go away.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear from them anymore. I don't want them ruining our lives. This is this is another thing that you cannot defend as, oh, it was a joke. It was tongue in cheek. It's bad form. And listen, if we're going to call out the right for doing things like this, we got to call out our own too. And you can't do it. You just can't. In this day and age, there's too many gullible people. We see it on both sides, and they will listen.
And I always go back to the whole thing. If you are a Democrat and you would be offended if somebody said this about Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, name your Democrat, right?
Right.
If you would be offended by that, why is it okay for us to say the same thing? Right? Like that.
Yeah, it's not.
A Democrat to say the same thing, I should say. Why is that okay? It's not okay because it's reckless. It erodes the trust that we have going forward. There's no civility in that. And if you're going to condone political violence, I'm sorry. There's no room.
You can fight very hard without resorting to promoting violence. And by fight, I mean debate and campaign and get out there and argue policy and argue treatment of people. Those are all things that you don't give up on. You keep hammering at those issues, hammering. But nothing good comes of making threats like that, getting into gullible people's heads that this is the answer. Because let's be honest, there's no chance that it's going to be better. God forbid God forbid one of these was real. And I know that's just me saying they're not real. But I have the opinion. But do you think it's going to be better for this country if that were an outcome? It's not.
No,
it's not.
That tears us into, honestly, if something like that were to happen, it tears us into some sort of almost like a civil war. And we're not ready for that. We're definitely not ready for that.
I got to stockpile some more stuff. John quickly says, of course, no one should promote violence, but do you think this criminal administration will leave peacefully? I do not, but we'll see. We'll see. Wow. Lot going on in Wisconsin. Menards is in trouble. We'll talk about it on Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
Yeah, if he was assassinated,
we
that
break
means
into
J.D.
civil
Vance
war.
takes over, and then things are getting even worse.
In this country, and oh man,
in November, if the Democrats win as they are projected to do, things will change. He will be held to account for a lot of stuff. It'll never be enough for some people. I mean, the end goal for a lot of people is him in jail, and if things are proven out in the Epstein case, he should be in jail if those allegations turn out to be true.
Right.
If we ever get to see them, if he ever is held accountable for those.
Right.
And if the Senate flips and the House flips, well, then the impeachment will have some teeth, because then...
Yeah. I was sitting as we were waiting because we, on one of our legs of our flight, we ended up coming in. I don't know how we did it, even though we were so behind. We ended up coming in ahead of schedule. So, of course, we had to taxi, and then you sit there and you sit there and you sit there because you have no gate, right? So we're sitting there, and I'm listening to there's a row of three. It was a couple with another woman who just happened to be in the same row. And as we were sitting there, I was overhearing their conversation. And the one woman was older, and she was traveling with her husband, staunch Trump voter until the war. And now she's panicked because she has 4 grandsons between the ages of 16 and 22. And she says, now what happens? I don't know if they're safe. I don't know if they are going to get drafted. One of them wants to join the military, and her son is trying to talk the grandson out of it. The woman on the end happened to be Hispanic, and she lost her citizenship. And she's trying to reapply for citizenship, but she's terrified. She's from Cuba. Her son and daughter-in-law are trying to move the grandkids and her out of the U.S. and Cuba and somewhere else.
You got 10 seconds.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:22 right now. We hope that you are having a great start to your Monday. Even for a Monday, we wish you the best as we try to navigate another day, another work week, and another news cycle. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. You can jump in anytime, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Monday, especially difficult after a vacation. Would you agree, Jamie, having come back from a vacation? And Parker, we have been woefully negligent in not mentioning that there is a picture floating around on social media. This was not leaked by anyone in our organization. No. It was posted to Facebook by Jamie's husband of Jamie in Minnie Mouse ears at Epcot, smiling like she was actually enjoying herself.
I was so excited. I got Minnie Mouse ears. It was the first thing we did. We got through the gates of Epcot. I'm like, find me the gift shop. I don't care if it's some cart. I want Minnie ears.
I'm going to have fun, damn
and
it.
I did get my
I'm
Minnie
gonna
ears.
Have fun. Put these ears on me. We're having fun.
I had a blast with my Minnie ears.
Very nice. Was there a Lindsey Graham spotting while you were there?
No, there was not.
Okay.
I asked I saw a bubble wand, and for a brief second, I wanted to recreate the moment, but we were in Epcot, not at the Magic Kingdom,
Okay.
so I wasn't sure that it would be as impactful. But I did find the pink bubble wand as well, and I had a
Good.
brief moment where I wanted to really just reenact the photo and
Well,
be where Lindsey Graham was.
The mini years made us think that, wow, Jamie may actually have taken like 20 minutes to actually enjoy herself, which was nice. What do mini years go for now? I'm just curious.
$42.
You gotta be kidding me.
No way. That's crazy.
$42.
I
No.
thought you got those when you walked in.
No,
No, they don't give them away.
$42 for the mini ears, yes. And I
Wow.
didn't even get the, and you could get the bedazzled ones.
Oh,
you
the
could get
princess
the
ones and the whole deal.
Oh,
yeah.
You could get the they've got full leather mini ears now.
Whoa,
I
hello,
just
Liz.
got the plain velvety ones, and
The
those were $42. I got
starter
the plain
earrings?
ones. That's
Wow.
right. That's what I got.
$42.
That's right.
That's why people start saving up for a Disney
Would
World
you like
vacation.
to know how much the bubble wand that
Oh,
Lindsey
you know
Graham
I
was
do.
using? It was $15.99
That's it?
for the bubble wand. Yes.
That's a better deal.
It is
Maybe
a
that's
better
why he
deal.
didn't have ears and the bubble wand. He was on a budget. Somebody
might
put him on his congressional budget didn't allow for both.
Well, they were on a break at the time, and there
That's
was
true.
the intrusion of the shutdown at the moment. So
Right, so maybe well, listen, they get paid during the shutdown. They didn't
That's
care.
right.
You know who else is getting paid? A truck driver at a Menards distribution center, because an Eau Claire County jury awarded him $5.5 million, placing 100% of the fault on Menards and its forklift operator. Yeah, so it's considered one of the largest known forklift injury awards against Menards in Wisconsin.
Now, this is actually a really big deal because this injured worker is a 46-year-old truck driver. He was struck in the head by metal
Ooh.
pallets being moved by a forklift,
Oh, my
suffering a severe
God.
head laceration that required emergency surgery and resulted in some permanent injuries. Now, this case centered on unsafe forklift practices involving a temporary worker who had not been properly trained, certified, or supervised before operating this equipment. During the trial, there was testimony, and it revealed that the forklift operator violated all of the known safety rules, and multiple employees acknowledged all of those failures. Attorneys also presented evidence of prior similar incidents at Menards distribution centers, arguing the company failed to address ongoing safety risks. Now, of course, as you can imagine, Brian, Menards has denied responsibility and attempted to shift the blame to the temp agency and the injured worker, but the jury rejected those arguments entirely.
That doesn't surprise me either.
No. And so good for this law firm, good for the jury for holding Menards accountable and for making sure that this truck driver was awarded what he deserved for obviously the injuries, the medical, the compensation for missing work. It's all wrapped up into this particular lawsuit. Wow.
When I was in college, I worked on a loading dock and unloading and unloading trucks. And part of the deal was you were going as fast as you could. And so I had no experience driving a forklift, but that was what you had to do sometimes. And it's not, people think, oh, it's pretty simple, right? I crashed into something and shattered. So there was some glass thing in this box. I destroyed it. And, because the guys who were trained on it, who had been old timers on the dock, they didn't have time to help some new kid who was just there for the summer. And you got to know what you're doing if you're going to be wheeling around in one of those things.
The fact that this had been an ongoing problem, though, with Menards, and they just basically, it sounds like, refused to acknowledge the safety practices.
They're trying to save big money, Jamie. That's the deal.
They are. And in this particular case, they did not save big money.
No.
In fact, they're going to shell out a whole lot of big money because, when you're not properly training people, it obviously comes at a cost.
I can't imagine getting hit in the head with one of those metal forks.
No. I can't even imagine the pain
No.
It's crazy.
Wow. Well, I'm glad, and it's funny that I'm wondering if attorneys, when they start making these arguments, they're looking at the jury and go, I know this isn't going to fly with them. These are working people in Eau Claire County.
Right.
They're not going to believe that it was the temp agency or the victim's fault. I don't.
Right.
I know that I got to make that argument because I'm contractually obligated to defend my client to the best of my abilities. But we're going down.
But
this,
in a
this
state
case isn't
in
going to work.
Wisconsin that relies so heavily on blue-collar industrial type work,
Yep.
you got to imagine that those arguments aren't going to play well, especially from some dude in a suit who's, basically representing a corporation that some of these people probably know family who works at or whatever it might be, especially in Eau Claire County.
And they've seen yahoos try to drive forklifts and other machinery on, on their job sites too. When we come back, racial disparity in Wisconsin are some of the highest in the nation. We'll talk to folks from the Wisconsin Policy Forum who have released a new study about that. I'm Brian Noonan. This is Daybreak.
It's 8:29. My name is Jamie Martinson. This is the Civic Media Network.
Okay.
Zip, zip, zipping along. Zippity-doo-dah. The show within the show.
I was
I
reading
still
through...
can't get over $42. Now, granted, I haven't been to Disney World in a long time.
Oh, with tax, it was $42.
Jeez. Now, imagine you got 3-4 kids.
Right?
That's just for the ears.
Yep.
To start the
just
day.
The
and there's a good chance one of your kids is going to lose those damn ears at some point
right?
during the day.
On a ride or something.
On a ride, and then start screaming. And so now you got to drop another 42 just to shut them up.
Yep.
Now, did you get your name? Were yours just the headband, or did you
they
get
were just the headband.
All right, so you didn't get your name embroidered on the cap?
No. No. My husband would have been like, no, just no. He gives into a lot of my whims, but not those types of whims.
Okay.
No, it was just the headband, simple headband, but no, it was
simple headband for $42.
It was the cheapest ones you can get there.
We've got Joe and Andy here. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
While we've got two of you, I'm just going to try to sound check you guys. Joe, why don't you tell me where you guys are located at?
I am located in Milwaukee.
Nice. Okay. And then, Andy, where are you guys?
I am also located in Milwaukee.
Ah, very nice. Okay.
Cool. Joe, how do we pronounce your last name?
Peter Angelo.
Okay,
it's
that's
easier than it looks, yeah.
That's what I figured, but I just wanted to double check.
How do we pronounce your cat's name?
Yeah, I just heard a meow.
Oh, okay.
No, that's Andy's cat?
That's Andy's cat,
That's my cat. She is named Quinoa.
Quinoa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes, we hear quinoa. Very nice.
She has lots to say today.
She does.
She has lots to say every day. She's a very talkative girl.
That's awesome. She just wants to be on the radio too.
She's shocked about the racial disparities in Wisconsin prisons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she saw them in the shelter before you got her.
Oh, and she's throwing up. This is good. This is good timing.
Oh, no.
Thank you for that lovely present that you gave me.
Don't you just love pets?
Pets are the best.
Yep.
He just swore that when we got home on Saturday that we'd left Aspen for 8 months.
Oh, wow.
She was ridiculous.
Had she been properly taken care of? Or
Yes, Dexter does a great job when he's there by himself with her. And he gives her so much attention. Dexter is way more responsible when he's on his own than he is when anybody's around.
Relatable.
Right?
Yeah.
And no, she was loved. She was cared for. She was great. But anytime I leave her for even like 2 hours, she'd swear it's 2 months. Like you can just quintuple the time. So 4 days equated 4 years in her life. Uh-oh, did we lose Peter?
Oh, whoops. Looks like
he had enough pet talk.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't come here to talk about dogs and cats.
All right, we got Joe back.
Sorry, my internet is a little spotty.
No, we've heard that a couple of times.
It's all over the state this morning. Big internet.
Big internet. We've got about 40 seconds, and just so you guys know, I will give you hand signals when we get down to our last couple of minutes, how many minutes we got left, and if you start to hear music, that means we just have a couple of seconds left, so we got to wrap it up. So you guys are aware there.
Parker, do we just want to throw, just in case that happens, do you want to just throw the number right into the chat for them?
Yes,
right now?
I will do that right when we get in here. We got 10 seconds here. We'll have if you look at the private chat, we'll put the number to call if your internet drops out again, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is 8:35 right now. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. According to a recently released report from Wisconsin Policy Forum, a public policy think tank, the racial disparities in Wisconsin's prisons are some of the worst in the U.S. Black Wisconsinites were 12 times more likely than white Wisconsinites to be locked up in state prisons in 2022. Now, that disparity was the second highest of any state in the nation, behind only Vermont. So joining us to share more about the results of the study are Joe Pietrangelo. He's Wisconsin Policy Forum's research director, and Andy Tisdall. He's a co-author of the report. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us this morning. Welcome. Joe, let's start with you. What were some of the key questions that you hoped would be answered by the study?
Well, so the study really looked at the criminal justice system in the state from beginning to end. So from arrest, we looked at arrest data and victim data. We looked at court data, corrections, and even we looked at the spending and staffing of the state criminal justice system. We were really hoping to understand, get a broad understanding of the whole system, what some of the biggest challenges are, what some of the striking trends are within the system, including looking at demographics of the population throughout the system and how Wisconsin compares with other states.
One of the things that I found most fascinating as I was going through the report was that it highlights Wisconsin as a highly segregated state. And so I want to dive into a little bit about that as well. But how does that essentially, that sort of segregation that we're seeing, how does that shape outcomes in our justice system?
Well, we know that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Andy.
We'll let Andy
go ahead.
go.
No, my connection is really not good. I think I might.
Oh dear. Well, we know that poverty is a risk factor for criminal justice involvement. That in a national study conducted by the Brookings Institute, that they found that people born into the bottom 10% of the income distribution had a much higher rate of incarceration than people born into the top. And we also know that in Wisconsin, there are disparities in things like the unemployment rate by race. So you have these areas where poverty is very high, and these areas are also often segregated. And so that can help influence the criminal justice outcomes of individuals.
And Andy, as we look at Wisconsin, where does our incarceration rate fall compared to the rest of the country? And then extrapolating from that, the rate for Black Wisconsinites.
Well, the rate for Black Wisconsinites compared to the rest of the country, as you said, we have, I think it's us in Vermont that have the highest disparity between those two. As far as overall incarceration rates, ours is a little lower compared to some of the southern states where their disparities are a bit lower because there's the higher incarceration rates for whites as well. But our ratio is quite high, as we found.
We're talking with Joe Pietrangelo. He's the research director at Wisconsin Policy Forum, and Andy Tisdale, who is a researcher also at Wisconsin Policy Forum, wisconsinpolicyforum.org. So when we're talking about the economic factors like poverty, unemployment, and income inequality, how much of that is tying back to, according to your research, what we're finding for the incarceration rates, especially amongst the Black population of the state?
So our study didn't really try to get into the causation or even the correlation with different factors. We did. So what we're really showing is the differences between populations, between geographies. In terms of some of the factors Andy already mentioned, we do discuss how there are big income disparities by race in Wisconsin, and about 2/3 of the state's Black population lives just in the city of Milwaukee. And there are major income disparities in the city, but we don't try to figure out all of the factors and how much they contribute to each trend we're seeing.
There was one thing that you not tried to figure out the causation stuff, but you were able to find that some of the disparities were tied to where law enforcement focused more, different communities, the policing styles in different communities, correct?
We raised that as a possible factor, but again, we didn't try to measure it. And, it's really difficult to determine how much of, criminal justice activity is captured by the system throughout and how much is not. So it's, but it can be a factor that if there is heavier policing in certain areas, there could be more arrests happening in those areas. And then that continues through the system.
Now, this report also showed that crime and victimization are concentrated, as you have mentioned, in these certain areas. How is that? Did you find anything about how that's impacting communities in the long term?
Again, that's sort of beyond the scope of this study. This was a really in-depth study that really tried to break down all the data across the system,
Sure.
but we didn't really, get to the level that you're talking about. Now this study took us about a year to do, and we are planning to do follow-up research in a number of areas. So this is just kind of a baseline for us as we go forward.
Joe Pietrangelo and Andy Tisdale are our guests. Joe is the Wisconsin Policy Forum's research director. Andy is co-author of the report. You can check it all out at wispolicyforum.org. Andy, were there any notable trends that popped out of this as far as incarceration in Wisconsin?
Well, one of the major trends that we observed was a rise in incarceration rates for older adults, both people age 60 and over, and also we saw a rise in the age 50 and over. Yes, and we found that that's both people aging in place, people who have long sentences who are just getting older inside prison, but also there were increased admissions for older adults. The incarceration rate for adults 60 and over doubled between 2010 and the present day. And the arrest rate also increased. We saw growth in people whose most serious offense was violent crime, whose most serious offense was operating while intoxicated, and other public order offenses as well. So that's what we observed for the growth of that population.
Besides the older adults and Black Wisconsinites, are there other groups that you're starting to see trends that this ethnic group is being incarcerated more than they had been before, or less than they had been before?
Yes, we saw that the incarceration rate for American Indian and Alaska Native individuals had gone up significantly. I wish I could recite the number offhand. I don't have it. No, I do. Admissions for American Indian individuals grew from 6.8 per 1,000 to 11.6. So not quite doubled over the last quarter century.
Wow.
And so that was the population with the highest admissions rate in the most recent several years. was the American Indian population. So it's now exceeded the admissions rate for the Black population in the state. So we have actually seen a decrease in admissions of Black Wisconsinites. So despite having some of the biggest racial disparities in the country in terms of the Black versus white incarceration rates, we have seen a bit of an improvement over time in Black incarceration rates and admissions to prison for both Black and the Hispanic population.
Huh.
Are there examples from other states that Wisconsin could realistically follow if they wanted to reduce the number of incarcerations for, say, the Black population or even the indigenous population?
Again, that's a little bit beyond the scope of this particular study. We are doing some follow-up research, like I mentioned, on specific issues. We're planning to publish a report later this spring or early summer on the drunk driving issue, where we're looking really closely at how that issue is affecting different populations in the state, how Wisconsin's laws compare to other states. So in that way, we'll bring in insight from across the country, potentially on what we might do differently, and we can continue to do that with other follow-up research.
Part of the conclusions that you reached at the end of this study was that the racial disparities are just one of the clear trends in the justice system here in Wisconsin. What are some of those other trends that kind of go along with this, or maybe are happening, but they're not directly related to the racial disparities?
So the aging trend that Andy discussed was one of the biggest findings as well. Just more older adults entering the system and being in the system. We also have observed that healthcare costs for the correction system have gone up quite a bit. They've tripled since 2005. It was the biggest portion of the budget increase for the corrections department. And so when combined with this rising aging population and higher healthcare costs to care for those older adults, that's a concern. We're spending more than a lot of other states are on corrections. Healthcare is part of the driving force behind that, and we're also incarcerating. We're over incarcerating in terms of the size of the prison population is much higher than what the prisons were built for.
As you were going through your year-long study and you were researching, was there anything that you came across that surprised, and either of you can answer this, or both of you, was there anything that was very surprising or striking to you that you did not expect to find as you were going through your research?
Andy, do you want to start?
Sure. Well, one thing that surprised me was, in terms of the total cost of Wisconsin's correctional system, we ranked 12th among the states, and we were the second. We had the second highest corrections cost of any Midwestern state, behind only Nebraska. In addition, we found a study that said that we had the highest cost for reincarcerating people who were returning to prison. I was not expecting either of those facts, and I'd like to dive into them more in a future report.
I would say
one of the things that
go ahead.
Sorry, Joe. And Joe, you can answer this one. There was the study you said took a year. During that time, what changes in the prison system did you see, if any, during the year that you were studying this?
Well, one thing that just happened is that on the youth justice side, Milwaukee County, a new youth facility was just opened for youth in Milwaukee County. Milwaukee County, about half of the youth that have been sent to Lincoln Hills in northern Wisconsin and Copper Lake are youth from Milwaukee County, and that's been a consistent trend. And now, there's more of an effort to have youth closer to home, including in Milwaukee County. So that was one thing that happened with that facility opening. Another thing is this is a little bit before the year, but there's been an increase in wages for correctional officers, which was in response to major vacancies in the state prisons. And so that's another pressure point for the cost of the system.
Well, Joe, Peter Angelo, and Andy Tisdale from Wisconsin Policy Forum, thank you very much. If you want to read more of the study, go to wispolicyforum.org. Gentlemen, thanks. We'll be back with more.
All right, we're clear.
Thank
you
so
guys.
much, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
You guys have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
We clear, Parker?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I said that.
So, you kind of whispered, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Like you were telling yourself,
Oh,
I'm
no,
checking
I
this
was
off my list. I'm
going-
checking this.
No, I'm going through things over here. I'm going through a different list.
List of guests who
It's
are.
like Santa.
Yeah, check it twice, Parker.
Making a list, checking it twice.
When I was a kid, I don't know why I did this. We say it's because of my lung capacity. I don't know. I was just said ho ho. I didn't say ho ho ho. I just said ho ho.
Wow. The more you know.
That's right.
Fascinating.
Oh, look. The WNBA is back.
What do you mean?
I'm just watching commercials.
Oh.
Preseason's games start Thursday for the WNBA.
I can never quite figure out when their season is.
Well, they started already because there were big stories on. I don't know why Sophie Cunningham is everywhere in my social algorithms. She had a big game, I guess, and after her knee injury, and then Caitlin Clark came back too after injury. So they stomped on New York the other day.
This was a commercial for preseason Thursday night.
All right, let's go.
Does Chicago have a WNBA?
Chicago Sky, buddy. They were the champs
Sky.
a couple of
Okay.
years
I
ago.
thought that there was, but I wasn't positive.
How dare you?
I can only
Angel
remember.
Reese used to play for them. Now she's in Hotlanta.
That's a good place for her. I feel like
It
she's
is,
going to
yes.
do well there.
That
Yes, it
is Angel Reese's kind of town.
Yeah.
She'll be able to turn up and turn out.
Yes.
Yep. Oh God, there's a guy who used to take, and I'm sure he still does. I haven't just seen it in a long time though. He would take videos of Angel Reese taking 2-pointers from ridiculously far away. And he just goes, "Angel Reese, long two."
My buddy, for years, every time he went to the mall, he tried to get one of those embroidery places to make him a hat that said F Chick Hoops. But he wanted the F word spelled out. Nobody,
15 seconds.
Nobody would
Nobody
do it
bite
for him.
on that.
Nobody would do it for him.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:52 right now. We hope you are having a great start to your Monday. A little rain around most of the state today. So, hopefully you keep yourself dry. Keep your umbrella handy kind of thing. We'll give you all of those hints. Right now it's dry out. It's just a little cloudy. It looks, like it could rain, but it hasn't yet. So
See, that's why people are lucky you're back, Jamie, because you will give them nice mothering advice. If you weren't here, the three of us would go, yeah, it's going to rain. Good luck with that. Because I always figure, unless I'm talking to children, then I will tell a child, you got to bring your coat today. It's going to be rainy. Maybe put on your boots. But with adults, listen. If it's raining out and you don't know, then you're no better than a turkey who's just going to look in the sky and
in the airport this week who were adults, actual adults who need that type of advice on a daily basis.
The public needs guidance, but I don't feel it's my place to give it.
You learn a lot sitting and waiting for things and watching other human beings try to interact in this world. It makes me actually feel better about myself.
Sure. Yeah. Well, if you were in there watching that, the sea of humanity at an airport, and you felt worse about yourself, it's time for some serious therapy. It is reevaluation time. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. What is your favorite horror movie? Now, if it involves an animal, that will be better, because did you put this story in, or did Frank put this?
I did.
All right, first of all, kudos. Second of all, where did you find it? Because this is insane.
Oh, I was doing just some search and going through some of my old prep services, and it gave me a headline, and I was like, oh, this is a thing. I need to go look this up. So I did a little research, and here we are talking about killer hippos, apparently.
All right, yeah, what's the deal? What's the deal with Hungry?
Well, we got to go back 14 years ago, because 14 years ago, Hasbro, the maker of toys and games and all of that, announced that it was developing a movie based on the game Hungry Hungry Hippos. So it actually started to happen, and now we are getting this, a horror movie about a killer hippo, and it is called Hungry. The tagline even says, "This hippo isn't playing games." And while it sounds like some sort of throwaway garbage meant to capitalize on some sort of existing, product, probably, but this movie looks like it could be good if you like horror movies. And I did, in fact, watch the 2-minute trailer to see. And I'm not a horror movie fan.
Okay.
So I had to check out the trailer, though. My former morning show co-host always told me that hippos were nature's killing machine.
They are. Hippos are one of the most dangerous animals on the planet.
And I told him he never had to worry about that at Devil's Lake, and that he was fine at Devil's Lake.
Is he?
Well, he's in Minnesota now, so he never got to experience that. But Hungry, the movie, is coming. It is going to be on demand, and it's going to hit digital platforms on June 23rd.
This is one that I would watch just out of sheer curiosity.
Right.
But it can't be. They'd be dumb to try to the game is not scary. The game is hilariously fun. Hungry Hungry Hippos.
I love Hungry Hungry Hippos.
So, but it's in the vein of Jaws. It's in the vein of Cujo.
Yes.
When animals attack. A good animal attack movie, because it makes you look at your pets differently. It makes you very skeptical. Yesterday I was cutting the grass, a cat shot out from bushes and went under my shed. I'm like, what's going on with you? Maybe that cat is plotting my demise. I don't know. Kitty killer. I'm making a short film, Parker, in my backyard.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be a part of that movie.
Put some sort of GoPro on the cat, and you got your. And I'm pretty sure that cats want all humans dead anyway. So.
Well, yet last week when you weren't here, Jamie, we talked about this guy in Wisconsin who had been stalked by a bobcat while he was turkey hunting.
I saw that story.
Yeah,
that was insane.
So
See?
Bobcat Bob, that would be the movie, the title. But yeah, I saw the trailer too, and that hippo looked angry. I don't know what makes a hippo so angry that it turns on humanity. But
this film, in case you're wondering, it's going to center on a group of holiday goers who must fight for their lives against this rampaging hippo on the loose after becoming lost in the Louisiana swampland.
Nice.
Now, there is an interesting line in the trailer that totally contradicts the movie's title and the marketing. In fact, I found this super ironic. A guy says, quote, "Hippos are vegetarian. He ain't killing you to eat you. He's killing you for fun." So not only is he not hungry, but it appears that he is playing games. So take it for what it's worth. But it does look like, if you like horror movies, a whole lot of fun.
A homicidal hippo, killing a thrill killer, just going out there on a rampage. I want to know. Well, now there's so many questions. I have to watch the movie. How did a hippo get abandoned in the Louisiana swamps? And what are these people doing? You could tell it was overseas, because nobody in America goes on holiday.
No, they don't go on holiday. What I also loved about the trailer, so this is no surprise because this is part of the trailer, and I'm not doing some
No
sort of
spoilers.
spoiler alert.
Okay.
They go on some sort of airboat ride in the
Sure.
Louisiana Bayou, and all
Very
of the
popular.
alligators are dead and mangled. And they can't figure out why. And it turns out that it's because of the hippo, who is
It's hippo.
obviously
One,
hungry.
and it's just one hippo who's doing
It's
all
just
this
one.
damage.
It's one hippo. Yeah, that's it. One hippo in this.
I'm going to
it's not
see how
like a
they stretch
gang.
this into 80 to 90 minutes because I'm thinking one hippo versus one high-powered rifle wins.
Oh, I don't think so.
But
No?
see, that's,
I don't think so.
That's
They're
just
big.
it, though.
They
Too.
are big.
They're on a tour in an airboat, so
That's
nobody's
true.
equipped to deal with the hippo.
How
who's
fast?
hungry.
Now I know hippos are fast on land. I wonder how fast they are in the water, chasing an airboat.
Can't they swim like 80, 90 miles per hour or something?
There's no
It's fast.
there's no chance a hippo
Surely
can
not.
swim.
Please
I'm
tell me you
looking
can
it up.
fact check this now.
We
after
gotta
30
we
seconds.
gotta look this. Can you check how fast do
I
hippos
can.
swim?
They
There-
can swim up to 10 miles per hour.
That's
Okay,
a
so
lot
not
less than
80.
90,
It
Jamie.
is, it
That is
is.
that is exponentially less than 90.
This is why I fact checked myself. Come
Well,
on
Jamie's
now.
back. She's making wild hippo accusations. But we'll be back tomorrow with more. This has been Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan. Thanks for listening.
I'm Jamie Martinson. It's 8:59 right now. You're listening to the Civic Media Network.
All right. That
What
has been...
animal can
Can't they swim
that
80 to
fast?
90
one swims
miles
that
an hour?
fast. I don't
What
think
a
anyone
wild
swims that
last
fast.
break.
Who can swim 90 miles an hour?
Oh, no.
Sure.
All
Maybe like
right,
a
live stream.
barracuda. Not even.
Oh, barracuda.
Goodbye, live stream. Glad you got to see this.